Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Popcorn Talk. And I hope everybody had a good Memorial Day weekend. Uh, Ready to start my show off with The Bridge Too Far. Hope everybody's ready to watch it. Shieldwall, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me here. Um, I don't know. All of a sudden, you got all kinds of static or something.
I did.
Yeah, I think so. Uh,
Uh-oh.
Not really sure. Your noise canceling stuff was working good a minute ago.
Yeah, like it's like your head if you had a wireless headset or something like it's losing the connection.
Yeah.
It's plugged in.
Mm.
Like when you talk, it's like real staticky.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't know why that would
Yeah. Just letting you know.
be. Alright.
But yeah, glad to be here to talk about this movie. I actually learned about the battle before I ever saw the movie. Um, and partly because of a video game that came out in the 90s. Um, the game was called Close Combat, and it
Mm.
was pretty realistic video game. But it came back when video games would come with like an instruction book or whatever, right? Well, this thing was really thick and it had a whole bunch of history, and the battles were kind of broken down into like chapters, and it had little videos at the beginning of each section that was using real live footage, and it talked about real plans and who real
Wow,
people
cool.
were and what they were doing. Yeah, it was really well put together. The game graphics weren't too terribly good, but the gameplay was amazing. They had a bridge too far, they had Battle of the Bulge, they had the Eastern Front, and they also had the D-Day landings. But the Battle of the Bulge and the Bridge Too Far were really um, or Operation Market Garden is what it actually is. It was really fun. And I learned a lot of history just by playing that. And then that got me to watch the movie, and the movie's really good as well. Really well done, especially for it, because of the it was shot in the 70s. Like the camera technology got really good to the
Mm.
point where it looks great. It doesn't really look. You know what I
No, it
mean? The
doesn't look bad at
quality's not
all.
bad. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I'm excited to get in and talk about it.
Hey, Matt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay today, good as can be expected. Uh yeah, I knew something about this battle because I recall something to do with like the Patton Montgomery and other generals. Like remember I was talking behind the scenes with the politics of these generals. I think I learned about this battle when I was learning something about that many years ago. Not a lot of details about it other than that we lost it essentially. Um, and I saw the movie probably in the 80s, like before it was really like, I wasn't as into the World War II stuff when I was a kid. I just watched, it was just required watching when you were growing up in the household I was in. And then, so the movie kind of sat in my head for a decade, kind of knew a lot of famous people were in type of thing, and then I rewatched it for this, and um, so that's kind of my general backstory on this movie.
Yeah, this was a first watch actually for me. So yeah, it's uh, good to see a bigger perspective of it, I guess. Uh, to show you that it was a pretty big scale thing. It was the largest paratrooper drop to date, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, it was like 20,000 troops.
No,
Um,
it was more. It was like well over. Um, it was the largest airborne battle plan, or however you would describe it, at that time in history. I think it was over 30,000.
I knew it was in the tens of thousands, which was a lot.
Yeah.
Just the transport aircraft alone that you would need to pull that off, they couldn't have done it any time before this in the war because they just didn't have enough of them.
No,
Yeah.
Um, and the thing is that the plan had so many different things. A, there were some flaws in it, but B, some everything kind of had to go perfectly in order for it to succeed the way that it was planned to. And against the Germans, that's probably just not going to happen. Um,
Well,
Yeah.
they're
well,
just too good at what they do.
to put this into perspective, so this is essentially what we call a special forces operation nowadays.
Yeah.
And in the World War II era, they were still at the point where special forces operations were considered, disgusting things you don't do or admit you do type of stuff. And it was in the aftermath of World War II that nations began to consider that special forces was a viable thing you should train for. You know, like
Right.
nowadays, this would have been like what, uh, like Delta Force and SEAL teams and actually, a classic example: the first Iraq War in the '90s. Um, they infiltrated like Marine Recon and SEALs on the U.S. side. I think
Yeah.
British SAS for like 6 months to a year before they even launched a strike. You know, and so like that's the type of thing. It would have this would be in a modern context, right? So back then they just had basically airborne, and uh, they threw troops at it, and I kind of disagree a little bit with Shieldwall in saying it wasn't that the Germans were so great at this; they were ill prepared for this either. They just had a massive amount of troops and the ability to call more from the homeland faster than the Allies could punch down that one road. So.
Right.
But historically, the Germans were really good at defense and counterattack than most other militaries of the era. They if you look at the number of casualties they inflicted on other people, and I'm not talking civilians, I'm talking troop to troop. It's quite a bit different on how much casualties because they had good equipment too.
Yeah.
Sure, they didn't have enough of it, but it was really good, and they were
Well, even in the movie though, Moselle was like, "They're not here for the bridges; they're here for me." You
right.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because they couldn't conceive of them trying to capture the bridges because it's so audacious and wild. Like the scope of the reach of trying to do that was so much that they just couldn't figure it, like what he was
Yeah.
doing, what they were doing.
Now,
Until, as we see, they capture the entire set of plans, and even at the point they don't even think they're real because they're like maybe this
Yeah.
is
yeah,
like a decoy, which
yeah.
people did. There were fake plans showing up all over the place all the time.
Now I'm not gonna sidetrack here, but the bridge at Remagen, which I think I got told was where my grandpa got hit with the artillery. Um, the battle of these bridges going into Germany were absurd. Like you not only had the Allied efforts to gain the bridges, right, but you had German efforts where part of the German military wanted to just keep them open to get the troops back, and Nazis were like, just blow them up. Get who don't care about our own troops type of thing, and like that. The Remagen Bridge back and forth 6 times or something like that before it got blown up and rebuilt by the Allies. And these was it six? No, it was 9 bridges. Well, in the actual war, it was 9 bridges. I think in the movie, it might have been 6. Uh, like the back and forth on these bridges. Remember, like we saw in the movie near the end, not skipping ahead, like the Germans were like, blow the bridge up when the tanks are crossing it,
Yeah.
and like or when the Germans was in earlier when they were sending their troops to their death, essentially trying to conquer that small enclave that the U.S. had built up, across that, I mean, yes, it's a viable military tactic, but it's the level of another movie, Saving Private Ryan. Remember the Battle of the Bridge at the end? That whole final conflict was involved that bridge crossing, right? You know, um, obviously you have to take the bridges or hold the bridges for your military effort, but it, back then it's a meat grinder to do so.
Yeah. No. So German HQ. This is shows.
And Modell was another one of the very good British generals that Hitler ignored.
Yeah.
Like if you're wondering why a general like him was up there in the boonies, plus basically when the generals would try to advise Hitler on the war, and he would listen to them, they'd get themselves transferred far away from him so he could just avoid the fallout.
Yeah.
Right. I want to say, yeah. By this point in the war, they were getting pushed back pretty far. Um,
Yeah, well, at this point in the war, so remember I mentioned the politics between the generals. The Allies had basically broken out of the beach, or broken out of France, right? They were just like using like the Allies had superior industrial capacity. The Germans had superior industrial engineering capabilities, right? So
Yeah.
essentially, the U.S. And to a lesser extent Canada were pumping out quantities of stuff and people for the mill, and so they were basically blitzing across Germany in these like strips. Each army had a strip. Each general had a stump of territory they were supposed to deal with, and they're all racing to be the one to take Germany. You know?
Yeah.
And the Germans were the military was trying to stage sort of an organized retreat, but they wanted to try to fortify Germany itself so they could get a negotiated end to the war, which is why the German military, if you remember, uh, the all the prisoners in the I can't my brain keeps freezing. Well, I mean, uh, Stalag 17, The Great Escape. Um, all those TV shows that show the Germans holding all those prisoners. The reason the military was holding those prisoners was to use them to negotiate a less a an end to the war that wasn't on such negative terms.
Yeah.
And Nazi command cannot fathom that they would have lost.
No. They were perfect. How could they lose?
Now, on that comment about remember that early on in the planning, the intelligence people said they'll just find old people in Hitler Youth.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So what the Nazis used to do when they would retreat, and this is why my grandfather's company stopped taking Nazi prisoners, uh, they would chain Hitler Youth to machine gun emplacements and leave and tell them that the Allies would kill them before they were chained to a machine gun emplacement and retreat, leaving Hitler Youth essentially as their rear guard. So my grandfather's guys got tired of killing like 12-year-olds, you know.
Yeah.
And once they encountered that, they said, "No mercy. We're not taking Nazi prisoners from now on."
well, one of the other reasons that they thought that they weren't going to have significant resistance is because the aerial reconnaissance missed the fact that well, actually they didn't. They proved that there were tanks there of higher quality, but the people making the decisions and planning it didn't want to believe that it was a thing because they really wanted to go forward, and
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
couldn't get the solid concrete proof of it. But so a lot of it uh, was leadership bias on their point, and and a little bit of failed intelligence because the intelligence reports they got. The other thing was is that the Dutch resistance were giving them a lot of information, but they didn't trust it. Uh,
Yeah.
so that was another
So
thing.
that was, and that was, we talked about this, I think, briefly. That was that politics of the generals. Say, they don't show it too much in here, but I know in Patton they show it. I know in what was that thing where Tom Selleck played Eisenhower?
Uh,
Uh, it was
yeah, I know
centered
what you're
on
talking
D-Day.
about.
They
I don't
showed the
remember.
politics because Eisenhower was like the grand commander of the Allied forces, basically, and it showed when all the generals trying to politic to him to get their units in higher places of repute, or to get the premium assignments. Like remember here they're commenting all the time about getting into the party or whatever they were saying. Like there was you'd be shocked. Like when I first found out about this sort of stuff, you know, decades ago, that these generals politic for like getting premium battle assignments and stuff like that. But it doesn't surprise me. Like, you know, it doesn't surprise me. I guess it's a function of the military that you want your generals to want to be the top guy, you know. So
Yeah,
not to work in a corner in the Pentagon somewhere, you know, eating Fritos and reviewing films, you know.
that was Countdown to D-Day. Is the name of that one with Tom Selleck.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, they're showing all the. They wanted to have it done in a week, wouldn't it? It was like a week. They wanted to all the preparations and stuff.
Once they triggered it, like said we're going to do the plan, they wanted to have go from like from the point of view of saying we're going to do it to the point of launching the gliders and stuff. 7 days. You know?
The reason for that is because if they protracted it out any longer, then the Germans could get word of it. But reconnaissance and spies and other
Well,
stuff.
not
Plus, they
just
were
that.
also on a tight timely table trying to beat the winter time. A
To
bunch of
be
other factors were involved.
to be Patton, you know.
Right. Well, probably that too. Yes, because there were competing plans being presented to Eisenhower at the time,
Yeah,
and uh, and there's only enough resources to go with one plan.
yeah.
So they eventually went with this one. Here's the thing: if they would have pulled this off, it would have been a huge coup. Like they could have been, it would have shortened the war by months if they could have actually pulled it off
Well,
Yeah.
and met all their objectives like they
yeah.
wanted to.
Hindsight is always 2020, and I am not like a world class general by any means, right? But just looking at the plan that was presented in the movie, combined with a little bit that I read about the actual battle plan and all that, if they had like launched the ground part first, sucker the Germans to think they're gonna punch in that way, and then
Mhm.
try to more stealthy insertion. You know what I mean?
At night.
Yeah, like have the Germans convinced they're trying to punch through on that road, so the Germans move their forces forward, and then do a overwhelming behind the scenes air assault, and then pincer the German forces. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
right.
would be horrible, but you know, well, I mean, obviously, if they had modern special forces who could have ninja their way in, and Germans never would have known. You know, so,
Right.
The main issue with the entire campaign was the ground was in Holland because of it was rainy and flooded, and the Germans had flooded a lot of fields and stuff.
yeah.
Is for both sides it was impassable off
Mhm.
the roads to tanks. Now the
Yeah.
Germans
Yeah,
obviously were already in position, so they could just sit there, and they didn't have to necessarily move. But it limited their mobility as well, right? Flooding these
yeah.
fields. So the only real avenue of approach for heavy vehicles and tanks and supply trucks was one road, and they had and there's an area of it called
Jacob, go back one.
it was called
You
the
can fi-
island
you
where
can finish your walk.
where the road is risen up over the fields by like 10 feet
Yeah,
or something, and it's a two-way road or whatever. But I mean, you're trying to drive tanks across that. All you need is one or two anti-tank guns. You knock out the lead tank, and that's it. Everything is held up, and then you can just pick stuff off. I mean, they got tank destroyers to push them out of the way or whatever, but wrecker tanks to try to push them off the road. But you're still held up and sitting there getting fired at, you know, by. And then once the Germans push down that road with their own tanks and set up defensive positions, with the timetable that they had to get to where they needed to go, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
They're
really
not going anywhere.
that is what killed
yeah.
the whole thing. That's what
Mhm.
held it up and prevented it from really happening. Because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
paratroopers, for the most part, did what they were supposed to do. Like the
Hmm.
bridge at Arnhem got captured.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it later, but there was a I think it was Osterbeek or something like that. There was a big landing area that they really kind of never got out of, uh, and they kind of got pinned in there, and that was another big factor. Is they landed so far away from the objective
Yeah.
bridge,
Right.
they couldn't.
Like 8 miles
It
away
was
from the
yeah,
objective.
it was 8 kilometers, so it was a little too far, And they had these specialized jeeps that they were supposed to use, but most of them got destroyed in an ambush
Yeah.
trying to get to the bridge, and the other ones all got wrecked in the gliders. So
So
um,
this character that Gene Hackman played is Major General Stanislaus Sosabowski, right? He's a Polish paratroop commander, to keep it simple. Now, I've added this book for this movie to my list of the 10,000 plus books I will never live long enough to catch up on, because I am curious, and I probably want. I like whether there's like actual historical books about that I might be curious about. As portrayed in this movie, they could have edited his character out almost completely. Like
Yeah.
he had that one scene where he was griping early, and you could literally have edited out every single scene he had afterwards, and nothing would have changed in the movie. Now, I don't know if that's because this general really was this recalcitrant and was not participating other than what he minimally had to do, or this is the way Gene Hackman played him, or whatever. But like in terms of like, so that's a question I would have for someone who knows more about historical parts of this battle. Which someday, if I get through my current mess and can buy books again, I will probably be curious about. Assuming I live to
Yeah.
174 and could read all the books I want to read.
Because
You know?
they really did treat him like an afterthought.
Yeah,
well, you got to remember that the Poland, he was part of the Poles that escaped. They're like the
Right.
Free Poland Army or whatever, and
yeah,
it, they they kind of didn't want to use them really because of a lot of different issues. But the Poles actually were really good troops. They hated the Germans with a passion,
oh yeah.
and they fought extremely hard wherever you put them.
Mhm.
Monte Cassino in Italy, there was a monastery up there that they put thousands of units or troops through meat grinder trying to capture it, and the Poles were the ones that wound up taking it. Once you give them a chance, and that's in this is that they were going to be part of the drop, but they weren't going to be part of the main drop. They were going to be part of a second wave, and weather kept them out of the fight and a bunch of other stuff. And then when they finally do get inserted, it's already over and done with. They got to pull out. So they're part of this withdrawal that goes pretty well. They managed to get so many people out across the river
Yeah.
by doing that. But in that game, Close Combat I was talking about, like once you drop the poles in there, yeah, they wreck face on everything they fight because their troops were just so like pumped up, and they were fresh too. They weren't like a lot of the other troops that have been in Arnhem were fighting for over 72 hours with no resupply or anything,
Mhm.
and so they were
Hmm.
really excited to do it. And but yeah, they you know what I mean. They're from a country that's basically defeated. The government's in exile, and you're trying to utilize these troops, but a lot of it's not they didn't trust them. It's just I don't know. It was like their language barrier, and they just didn't see them as a
Well, no,
viable
they did.
thing.
They got to remember this about the European Shield. They hated each other. You know what I mean? There's a reason we all left Europe and formed the United States of
Yeah.
Canada. Like the European countries have been at war for 600, nine, since the Roman Empire fell, basically.
Well, the other thing to consider though is that England declared war on Germany simply because they attacked Poland, their ally. Germany
Yeah.
didn't attack England. They could have just sat it out and been like, "Ah, we'll just." But
Mhm.
they're the only country in Europe that went to war off of principle alone. Everyone else
Well,
was either the aggressor or got attacked or invaded, and then said, "Oh, we're at war." Uh, but they were the only ones that weren't attacked first. They 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 went to war because Poland was attacked.
I I don't know if I would call that out of principle. Um, in the aftermath of World War I, when they kicked out these sane politicians again, they kicked Churchill out and all of that. Um, the greedy MFs who brutalized Germany in the 20s economically, all those guys came into power. And I am less forgiving of England politically because of the mess we inherited after World War II. You know what I mean? It just But whatever. It's not. It's not. It's just. It's a curious point of history. You know what I'm saying? So how
Mhm.
World War just like gradually spun up like like Godzilla slowly rising out of the ocean type of thing. Um, yeah. Gotta love those spiffy German uniforms.
Yes.
So they went to play a war game, right? That's kind of where he was sent off to. Or no, is this the Situation Room? I might be getting mixed up here.
So this
This.
is the German not knowing that the attack was coming. This is the Germans planning their like sort of game planning the. Remember, I said they wanted to fortify up Germany. Sort of game
Yeah.
planning troops around in that region to fortify up that area. So they inadvertently fortified that area, not knowing the attack was coming, just as a matter of they wanted to move some troops to a place where they could have them get rest and relaxation away
Yeah.
from the.
Right. Yeah, and
Ready.
that's
Ready
what
to
the
take on Patton
right, and
because they
that's what
thought they
that
were going to take that Patton was going to be
Yeah.
leading the
right,
assault.
right. Because that's what that Panzer unit was doing there. It was actually pulled off the line so they could like refit. People could rest,
Hmm.
get a little bit of off the line and not just be in constant combat and stuff.
Yeah. We're
Just
taking care,
crazy
huh?
how. Just crazy how things work. And you plan this mission, and they just happen to put a Panzer division to rest in the same place.
I don't, like I said before, I don't think it was a well planned mission on the Allies' part. I
No, huh?
think Monty's arrogance in a way, thinking any plan he came up with would succeed. You know?
Well, the other thing about Monty is he was very methodical in everything that he did, like how he moved his troops.
Hmm.
He didn't do things with a lot of speed, right? Where Patton, on the other hand, was like a mediocre plan violently enacted right now is better than a super detailed plan enacted a week from now.
Yeah.
It's kind of his philosophy. But that violence, the action of violence, and it was the thing that really set him apart.
Oh yeah, I think Patton understood that the Germans were less capable of dealing with like hyperactionary random violence, so to speak, than methodically grinding them out.
Right. If you gave them time to think, you were done. If you gave them time to think and react to counterattack or to build a defense,
Yeah,
you had to
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, you had to bust through and just keep pushing.
I
And it
think
had yeah,
Patton and other guys in his political camp understood the fractures in the German command, where the Nazis weren't listening to the German military as much as they should have. You know,
right.
and by doing this, like, well, blitzkrieg, even though obviously it's a German tactic, by blitzkrieging the blitzkriegers, the Nazis themselves, who were subpar military commanders, um, couldn't react, and they had the German generals had been sidelined enough that they couldn't combine their sort of group planning to counteract. You know,
Right. One of
Right.
one of the things that how Hitler and Stalin maintained power was they would pit people against each other.
yeah.
And by doing that, it fractured the unity of command, and it made it
Mhm.
harder for people to work together.
Well, that's
Yeah.
socialism and communism for you. That's how it
Yep.
works. You know? When you
Well,
gain those power positions,
especially when you have one person that's trying to cling to power the whole time,
yeah,
and then there's small inner group of people, right? So, but even the inner groups of people, Hitler always had them competing for his favor, so that they could never really work together to overthrow him, right? To like create a
yeah.
coalition that could get rid of him,
Yeah.
and that's how him and Stalin operated, and that's why look at how badly it went for Russia in the first part of the war. It wasn't until they got their stuff together, uh, and I mean, and pulled through it, but that was just yeah, he had to make some significant changes, but and Hitler never did. I mean, he descended into like, as a tweaker with Parkinson's.
Yeah, right.
So, and that was a lot of people think that was the thing is he was so hopped up on stuff all the time. You know, he really couldn't think logically.
Now I
Also,
want to. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say that also there was an issue I think with like the air drops. The reason they dropped them so far is because they didn't want the Air Force people didn't want to go a certain route or fly over something. If I remember right, because they thought the AA was too high, too heavy,
Right.
something like that. There was
And
a
they don't even have pictures of where they want them to land.
right, yeah. It's so far off of where they're going to drop them that it's not even on the map. There's no map of it here for the planning purposes. Isn't this the guy from The Mummy?
Yes,
Lily.
Yeah, he's the pilot in the desert.
he's from other stuff.
Yeah.
That's a different guy.
Hey, are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Kind of looks like him.
he's a British guy, right? Yeah, he's what the fuck is his name? Sorry, Jacob. Uh, I'll find him while you're looking.
He
I'm
just
not-
looks like the guy that O'Connell gets to fly him in the
Yeah.
Hominoptera.
Yeah.
Donald Pickering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, Fahrenheit
I mean-
451, Battle of the Bulge. Zulu Dawn. Remember we
Right.
talked
Yeah.
about that in Zulu. And then a million things on TV, like Doctor Who. He was in Doctor Who in uh, multiple serials. I know Time in the Ronnie he was in. That's from the 80s. He played multiple characters in Doctor Who. Uh, he was in the original Avengers show in a whole bunch of episodes. Oh God, what was this big thing that he was? Um, he's- when you see someone in something and it's like you remember their face, but you can't recall what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there's so many people, and you're like I had to go look it up after the movie. I thought I saw Nick Courtney in here. That's the Brigadier from Doctor Who. He wasn't in this, but there's so many people in the background roles and stuff. You know?
Yeah. He's like, I'm just making sure what side you're on. Because that's, you don't have maps of where they're supposed to land. It's 8 kilometers from the objective. It's like you're trying to make them fail. You're getting some more aerial shots here. Yeah, that guy that it was shown earlier, he's like worried that there's something wrong, so he wants to go get more reconnaissance. So that's
There's Ryan O'Neal. Like all these guys' faces you could see from other stuff.
yeah,
Cliff from Cheers in here at some point.
mm-hmm.
I think the dude who played Otter in Animal House is in here. I don't think Sean Connery ever gets dirty in this entire movie.
Right. Yeah. He's the because he's like the overall guy in charge. Him and this dude.
Yeah.
And they wind up in Oosterbeek getting separated from everybody and out of contact for like 2 days. So they don't even know they're basically out of the fight for most of it. But they did a lot of training and preparation of the troops for this. So the actual troops that they used to drop in here were some of the best trained soldiers that the
Yeah.
Allies had, like 2 years plus of just training.
Mm-hmm. Even that guy.
Yeah. So here they are looking at the reconnaissance photos.
And the guy didn't know how to work it.
Yeah.
There.
So there are the tanks right there in the tree line.
Now I wonder if that's a real photo.
Oh yeah, probably. When like I was talking about that game Close Combat, like it had photos in it and like short videos. All of it was historically, like none of it was made any other way. It was all taken from historical documents and
Mhm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's pretty cool. Also, there's some famous pictures that you see in a lot of media, books, and things that are out of this battle of Market Garden, Operation Market Garden.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, don't worry about those.
Right, yeah, see? And he's like, oh, they're probably nothing, or whatever he says.
He says there's like, they're probably out of order. They're not working.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a very big gamble to say that.
Yep. One of the other huge issues that the British paratroopers had was that their radios didn't work.
Yeah.
So, and this is 30 Corps, which is the armored portion of the attack.
Yeah.
Yep, Grave, Nijmegen. I remember those names.
This guy's like, this guy's acting like
Yeah, you
it's
gotta
gonna
put
be,
more
it's gonna be a walk in the park.
Shieldwall, you gotta put more phlegm in it. Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Clive!
Yeah, Eindhoven. Yep, Eindhoven. Sohn. That's how you say that, is Sohn. Yeah, all those. And
Just
then you
with
have,
phlegm in your throat, you know.
yep. But when you play the game, it'll cycle between the battles, and you play each one as a separate battle, and you have to
Now
hold the
that guy.
bridge. And the interesting thing is in that game you could play the Germans too. So it was all historically accurate as to what unit was where and whatever. And as the Germans, part of your mission was to blow the bridges or hold them.
That guy,
Yeah.
the guy who led 30 Corps, he's played by Edward Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Edward Fox played in the Day of the Jackal movie. He played the Jackal. And what else did he do? Again, you see these guys all over the place. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah, yeah. This is a star-studded
And
cast.
his
Yeah.
family is a bunch of actors too.
You know, he
Or
was in
his-
Fort
his-
Tom for Navarone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The TV Shaka Zulu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Shaka Zulu.
And
Wasn't
did you see
he
who this
in-
guy was? He's the in the last Indiana Jones movie, the big bad German.
Oh, right. Is that him?
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean the one with time travel, whatever the fuck they did?
No,
the Last
the
Crusade.
original three, the Last Crusade.
Yeah, Last
Oh,
Crusade.
okay.
A penitent
Yeah, yeah.
man. Penitent
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The last real
Yeah,
Indiana Jones.
yes, exactly. Instead
Yes.
of the
Although-
I survived a nuclear blast in a refrigerator
I'll
nonsense.
I won't shit on that crap on that fourth one as much. It was just a bad movie. It wasn't like a woke disaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was. It had Shia LaBeouf in it or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was not good.
Yeah.
What do you think about the TV show though? Was it Young?
A Young Indy was good.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, wait.
Lance, how are you doing?
Hey, here's Lance. Yeah.
Hey guys, we haven't started yet, right?
Oh yeah, we started already.
Oh, you started? I thought it was in 10 minutes.
Oh
Take
no, it's,
the message out there, Lance. Maybe you can get there.
yeah, we started at 6. We're an hour early.
So you
Don't worry,
started. How long ago did you start?
Like 50 minutes ago.
Oh, 15. 15 or 50?
50.
50. We're not
Oh,
that far
fuck.
into it.
I've
We're
been
not.
sitting
we're
here-
not
I've
that
been
far
sitting
into
here
it. We're
waiting. You
good.
said it was 1 a.m. my time. I've been sitting here
Oh
waiting.
no,
Oh, never
We're-
I'm
mind.
sorry.
We're really not that far into it. They're just now giving
I
the
can-
initial briefing.
I can see exactly where you are.
Yeah.
64
Yeah.
miles behind enemy line.
Right. Yep. And we were just talking a little bit about some of the history and a few things like that, like how they came to certain decisions in the view before this one, in the scene before, where they're talking about the airdrop, and they're like, "It's not even on the map that you have here," because they're
Yeah.
dropping
Yeah, I
them
mean,
so
I
far
mean-
away because they were worried about anti-aircraft guns and stuff.
It was the British Air Force that argued that case, and if Sean Connery's character Urquhart had been a more experienced, officer, which he wasn't that experienced at airborne operations, he didn't have a lot of combat operations under his belt. He would have insisted that they landed south of the bridge. It's a no-brainer.
Right.
So,
Well,
if
at
they
least
landed,
on
if they
top of
landed
the
whole
objective.
division south of the bridge,
Yeah.
they would have been straight over the bridge and into the city, and it would have taken the Germans weeks to get them out.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
So I mean, just the whole thing of making them drop that. I mean, that and also not doing a coup de main at Nijmegen Bridge are the two primary reasons why the operation failed. Absolutely, without question.
Yeah.
Because they could have captured Nijmegen Bridge on the first day if they'd done that, and I think that they still would have succeeded just about, but it would have been still would have been problematical. But
Yeah.
yeah. But this scene was shot in the cinema in Daventer, where they shot probably about 70% of the movie. I've been to all the film locations where this was shot.
Cool.
So I know everything there is to know about how the film was made, because my friend Alan Tompkins was the art director on the film.
Cool.
So, and there's a 2-part interview with him on my YouTube channel. He sadly passed away a few years ago now. But I asked him every question you can imagine in private as well about, how did they film this? How was this made? How was that made? I've also got a ton of photos to show you guys from filming that I've got here.
Cool.
I've got a whole load of stuff to show you. So, but I don't know if you I probably won't make it for the whole movie because I was going to stay for an hour. Shit, I could have done 2 hours now.
I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. It's just a miscommunication. Did you guys see the special version of Bridge Too Far that I've edited?
That you've
I
edited?
did.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I have not seen that.
So it's on Rumble, so you can see it. So it's a Bridge Too Far with all of the Market Garden scenes from Band of Brothers, seamlessly edited it into the film. The whole film's been regraded, so that
Okay.
it all looks completely the same. All the Band of Brothers actors have had all of their names added into the opening credits, but the opening credits look completely seamless. I've also added about 20 other shots from 4 other movies to increase the size of the air convoy and all of that stuff. So it's now like this massive, super mega film version of Bridge Too Far.
Well, with all of these, like you could pick any like World War II like day or whatever, and go and pick like a whole bunch of great movies and TV shows, and actually has these tremendous things with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
Like-
going to do a Battle of the Bulge one next. I'm gonna edit about 6 different Bulge movies together into one like mega.
What's your channel on Rumble?
Literally, it's called the Outcast Creative. I've got 1 follower. I created that account especially to load up that film. I did it a few weeks ago. So I don't know if I can put the link somewhere. I don't even know how this works. Can I put it in the comments there? No, I don't know how to do that.
Well,
Here, I'll get it. I've got it still.
You got it?
Yeah.
'Cause I
I mean,
think
imagine,
Jacob watched it.
If I
imagine
look,
when you. Go ahead, Charlie.
I was gonna say if I look you up, there's can only Sasquatch did an interview with you.
That's right.
That's what I see. But let's see. I'm looking for it right now. Is it all one word or something? Or
It's called the Outcast Creative is all one word, no spaces, with a capital T, capital O, capital C
okay,
on Rumble. But if you search for Bridge Too Far Operation Market Garden Super Extended Cut, that's what it's called,
okay.
and it will just come up straight away. I mean, it's got to be the only one on Rumble. I did send it out in advance of this, so I was hoping you guys would have watched it already, but that's all right. But it's I just wanted to, because I was working on a World War II TV show, and I wrote an episode. There's 2 episodes of it set. It's like a European Band of Brothers, and there's 2 episodes of it set in Operation Market Garden. One is told from the Polish perspective, covers their operation in a lot more detail, and then the other one is told from the perspective of a young boy who gets separated from his sister. And so we went to Arnhem and to Dave Enter to see where we could film all these scenes and what you can actually film in Arnhem. And there's one bit in Arnhem that still looks very much like it did. This one particular street where the British were pushed back by the German SP guns, which is not a scene in the movie, but it was a major action. So I made sure that action actually happens in the script, and we were going to shoot it in the actual location where it took place, which is the Upper River Road, just by the Knitting Museum, which was the prison at the time. It's that kind of hexagonal building. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the flow of the.
That's all right.
Well, it gave me an interesting thought though. Like, so I shared out this like little 1-minute AI thing I saw someone do where they took like Aragorn and Conan and Achilles and all that, and had all the heroes meeting up. I don't know if you caught that a while back. Imagine with like AI tools, you could grab like all the stuff from like the Normandy beach invasions, Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers, Longest Day. Imagine the beach invasion scene you could put together now.
Yeah. I've thought about doing a D-Day one as well.
Travis, real quick. Hey, Travis, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, I made it as soon as I could after getting the kids to bath.
That's all right. No worries.
I've only just arrived myself. How do I put comments in this section on the left? I've not been on these before. If I go to comments, but I can see you guys are saying hi and stuff, but I don't know. See how I type in there.
Should be down at the bottom there.
At the bottom. Hang on, let me go full page.
It'll say all or.
I've got like comments and then private chat, right?
Right.
But I can't see where I type. I've got a search bar.
It should be just above that.
Above the search bar.
Above the private chat, where it says private chat.
Right.
Should
where
be
you
just
see
above that.
it says comments, and then there's a private chat. There's
Oh, okay. No, I know what he means.
I can't see where I'm typing. There's nowhere for me to type.
I don't think you can put anything in comments. I think that's the comments from YouTube or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I think you have to go to private chat and click on either a person or the group, and then you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So the comments that we're seeing are from YouTube.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
If you want to comment on YouTube, you actually have to stream open.
No, I can do that.
In the chat.
I'm not familiar with this layout, so I'm trying to get my.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
We're not going on camera today, right?
No.
I mean, that's fine,
I don't own a camera, so
one of the things
I
I've
never
got.
do.
One of the things I've got here to show you is I've got a call sheet from Bridge Too Far, which was given to me, an original one.
Okay.
And it's from the day of filming. If you don't know what a call sheet is, just for anyone who doesn't know, it's basically the sheet that's done for every day of filming on a movie, and it lists all the actors, all the props, who's going to be picked up at what time by which driver, and so on and so on and so on.
Cool.
So this is the day of Robert Redford underneath Nine Megan Bridge. You know, that sequence where it says, "Can you make it to the tunnel?" No, no way, sir. Up the bank, right? You know, that bit. That it's the call sheet for that sequence, which they started at 6 a.m. on that location underneath the bridge on the side of Lent, the north side of the bridge. And I've got the complete breakdown of all the stunt team, Robert Redford's hotel address, and the various extras that were with him, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. That was given
So
to me.
where was it filmed? Was it filmed uh, in England, right?
No, so almost the entire movie, including all of the scenes set in the UK, were shot in Holland.
Okay.
The only stuff that was shot in the UK, I think they did some pickup stuff, but like all the stuff on the runways with the Dakotas, all the Dakotas taking off, all of that was done at the airport of Deal, which is actually just north of Arnhem. So all of these tent scenes and all of this was all shot in a wood near Daventer, which is a city that's just north of Arnhem, but had all the buildings near the bridge in Daventer, because Daventer was not the scene of fighting, were all completely intact. They have the exact same two churches as Arnhem, but they're not all surrounded by office buildings like Arnhem Bridge. So they were able to go there and
Okay.
construct the set. I've got pictures of the set being built
Cool.
actually at the bridge to show you, but I don't know how I'd share those on here.
Isn't
If you
the,
go down below the where we're at,
Yeah.
there's
Oh, I see it.
one that says
Yeah, I
share
see it. I
screen.
see it. Yeah, I'll let me grab some. I mean, I don't know if you want to see these now or, but I can show you
we can.
exactly where it was shot. So,
is the bridge still the original bridge?
so the bridge at Arnhem was bombed in 1945 by us,
Okay.
and it was destroyed. It fell into the river. The reconstructed bridge is constructed with the building materials from the bridge that was destroyed. The bridge at Daventer is exactly the same bridge by the same company. All of that was built at the same time. It's just another city that's about 20 miles to the northeast of Arnhem, basically.
Okay, so that bridge is basically identical to the original Arnhem Bridge.
Absolutely correct.
Construction material, technique, all of that.
Yeah.
And
Oh
it was
yeah,
built
no.
at the
Daventer and Arnhem bridges, in terms of size and everything, are completely identical. The difference with Daventer is that all the buildings around it are still original old buildings that predate World War II.
Okay, so that's what it would have looked like
Yeah.
in 1944.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this scene that you've got on now, right? Look at that frame. See the house in the background. That house is actually a Dutch manor house, and that was one of the buildings. It was a hotel. It was one of the buildings where a lot of the lead actors were staying, and they took over the whole thing. And they used that for all of the sequence with where it's like it's supposed to be British intelligence or the First Airborne's headquarters. You know, you see them coming out, and then the other side of that building is used later on for
The hospital?
no, the 82nd Airborne's headquarters where they drive in the front. Yeah,
Right.
but that's all shot in Holland. And the reason they shot it from this angle is to cover up the very Dutch design of there's a dome-shaped building on the right-hand side of it. You can see it in another shot, but they're trying to cover it up there.
Honestly, I don't think your average American would be able to tell the difference.
No, I mean...
That it wasn't shot in England.
I thought all of those things were shot in the UK when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that so much of this film was shot literally within 10 miles of the same place. You know, it was all shot within, a lot of it was shot within 10, 20
And what's
miles.
interesting is their set was also their sleeping area.
Yeah, the Attenborough's army guys, well, they actually slept in a school just round the corner from it, but which was during the holidays. It was like a dormitory, so they were basically sleeping in barracks effectively.
Right.
But they were like 2 streets away from the set buildings.
And all of these aircraft are original, right?
That's right. Yeah.
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 Well, I mean, it's the DC-3, and they were ubiquitous, and this is the '70s, so it's really not that far in the future from World War II. So there were still probably a whole bunch of them still flying around,
Yeah.
like all over the place, uh,
Yeah.
back then. So, and now are these gliders?
So
These
these
were
are
made.
gliders. These are British gliders. These were all built for the film.
Okay.
They built 6 of them, and when they came out on the morning to shoot this sequence, the mildew had settled on the wings, the one you can see there, and they'd all bent. They'd all
Oh
drooped
no.
down like a dragonfly. So what Alan had to do was he put in these metal poles. They had to rebuild them with a metal sort of stanchion going through the middle so that the wings wouldn't drop. But you'll notice in the film there's no shots of them actually taking off.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
they cheat around it. In my supercut, there are. There's lots of shots of them taking off in my supercut. There's lots of shots of them in the air in my supercut. But in the standard British Too Far, no.
I was wondering if they built them off of like original plans or something.
But yeah, they were constructed.
Okay. Wow.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's 2 of them still exist from the movie. There's one in down in Cornwall in a little museum that this guy's got, which we were going to borrow it for my movie. That's the interior that they use when you've got the shots of them sitting inside it when it's supposed to be in the air.
Yeah.
My grandpa was qualified for gliders, but I'm not sure if he actually was in one.
In Lubbock, Texas, at one of the old airports there that used to be a base, they have a glider museum, which it doesn't have British ones in there, but it has American gliders and a bunch of other stuff in there too. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I checked that out a couple of years ago. But yeah, just imagine you got to glide in on that thing and really. And they're supposed to be. I know they were supposed to be recoverable. Like the theory was that you could recover them and use them again.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I know
there's
there.
very few instances of that actually
Right,
happening.
right. Also, the British ones look a lot more robust than the American ones do.
Well, I mean, the British ones, their horses, the ones you're looking at, as opposed to the American Waco. The American Wacos were really good at breaking up on impact, but the Horsa gliders, there's several accounts of them breaking up in midair. Whether that was from flak or just it coming apart. And I mean, there's an account of one guy looking out of a plane and seeing one break apart, and literally all the people just falling out along with the Jeep inside it, like matchsticks, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have like a
Remember
rough bounce or something, and
Masters of the Air, they showed that in some scenes.
Yeah.
Like literally, when a gliders, when gliding, you would see them just disintegrate. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, well, they are made out of like wood and cloth and stuff, so it wouldn't take much. Maybe the wrong wind direction, or also they were cranking out so many things so fast. Quality control had to be an issue.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Safety was not
Right.
at a premium. You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
At this time in world history, manufacturing, engineering, quality control they're literally just inventing it like right now.
Right.
It wasn't
right.
But it's a very clever sequence, this, because they do this thing where they show, the gliders being towed. You get lots of cuts of the ropes kind of being pulled up and stuff, and then the way it's edited is extremely clever. But they only had 13 Dakotas for this entire sequence. So you get one shot where you see like about 40, and the 3 rows behind the one in the foreground are all basically just painted on glass.
Right.
Is how they did pre-digital.
I mean, 13 originals though, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they came from all over the world.
Yeah, and then you paint them up, and then like that shot where they're all lined up on the runway. That was probably like all 13 of them.
That's right. And then several of these also appear in Band of Brothers. It's the same actual craft from British.
Right. Well, if you take good care of an aircraft and you get replacement parts and quality maintenance, they're still flying like B-52s from the well, from the early 60s now. They
Yeah.
retired all the other ones. But a vintage aircraft, if you take good care of it, you can still keep it flying. As long as nothing, like it doesn't have like a giant crack on the spine or something. And I know that these were very rugged aircraft, and they're easy to fix if you've got the parts. It's not like you need a bunch of special test equipment, electronics and stuff.
So one industry that got invented starting in like the 30s and 40s, well, it was movie production areas like Hollywood and California, warehouse after warehouse and parking lot after parking lot of cars and costumes and furniture. Like if they film a movie, right? Like usually they would destroy it, but then they said, "Wait, let's just save this stuff and rent it out to some other movie or whatever." Like
Yeah.
if you go to like New Zealand where they film the Lord of the Rings stuff, they still have warehouses full of stuff that they rent out to like B-grade fantasy movies that fill down there. So there's
Um,
probably
Hold
like
on
some
that shot, by the way. Keep that shot up for a second. Sorry to
there's
interrupt.
probably some airfields in like California and the filling parts of England where they have these old planes just sitting around waiting to be rented. You know,
Yeah, there's still a couple of these in service in third world countries and things like that. So that this is an interesting fact of the day. So that shot that you can see there of that street, that's a real street in the north of England. And if you look, you can see the way they've been quite clever. They've built that wall going across, so you can't see the modernisms a bit further on. So they've actually blocked the street out. So if you've seen Monty Python's Meaning of Life, that is the exact same street where they do the song "Every Sperm Is Sacred."
Ah,
It's the same
are
street.
are these those buildings are what, late 19th century?
Those are terraced houses from the 1920s.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, lots of those were kind of built in the early 1900s,
Mm-hmm.
and a few in the late 1800s. But that if they're terraced, they're probably about 1910, something like that. My grandfather would know all about this because he built them for a living.
Oh, wow.
And again, those shots of the planes, that's not digital, but those aircraft are not really there in that shot. So
It's a good shot though.
it's
To
very
show
clever.
like the high volume of, like, when you see that many planes flying around, that's crazy. Just the power, the amount of resources, and then each one of those is full of paratroopers, and then they're towing a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff behind them potentially. That's crazy. And one of the Germans even has maybe that's in The Longest Day, where they're like, if I could just have this much power at my
No, that's
fingertips
in
at one
this
time.
film.
Is that in this one? Okay,
That's in
yeah,
that scene's
Yeah.
coming up right
Yeah.
in a few minutes.
right.
And
Like what he
he
could have
says,
done with that many, paratroopers.
yeah, to have
But
such power at my disposal. I
yeah,
think is the exact line.
but I know that
This is the
after.
set that still exists that you're looking at now.
Okay,
That still exists. That's in the museum in Cornwall.
right. Yeah, that's the specialized Jeep that they were going to use because they were like gun Jeeps or something.
No, that's just a command jeep for the head, because this is the headquarters glider with
Oh,
Urquhart in
right.
it.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? Though part
Yeah,
of the plan was they were going to have these specialized gun Jeeps to take
Well,
the
the,
bridge
the,
with.
the funny thing is, as well, is the film, although it's accurate in terms of telling Urquhart what he would have known at the time, some of those jeeps actually did make it to the bridge. But they didn't get there before the paratroops. They got ambushed. Two of the drivers were killed. In two of
Right.
them.
Yeah, I do
But,
remember that
yeah,
that they got ambushed on the way
they
there.
got ambushed at a crossroads near the railway station, just east of Osterbeek, and then they took a different route. And the main guy who was in charge of that unit, he managed to get there, and he was part of the defence of the bridge. He got there with about 4 of them, I think, in the end. But some of the gliders with them in crash, but most of them got there okay. But they got miscommunication of orders. They got told to go one way, then the other, and all of this kind of thing. So, now, some of these Shermans, by the way, are fiberglass.
Okay.
So when you've got a shot like that, you've got like 12 of them in a shot there, or 10 of them. The first 4, because I think they only had 4 working Shermans. The first 4 will be real, and then the ones behind are all fiberglass Shermans mounted on top of a 2CV.
Okay.
Believe it or not, with kind of fake tracks and all the
Right,
rest of it.
right. They
So
did a really good job of
Yeah, they did.
making
superb.
everything look
Yeah,
period correct.
Yeah.
yeah, really, really good. I love this scene as well,
Yeah.
and it's great stuff.
Michael Caine, he's driving around in like a real command vehicle, little armored command car.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah, I, I I think that's a real one. Um,
it's a real one in certain shots, and then if you can
yeah.
see some of the on-set filming photographs, there's actually a fake sort of thing for him to sit in for his close-ups, and it's all mounted on the back of a truck.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So right. So they don't really have to put wear and tear on the real one.
and they've got and in long shots, and when he goes over the bridge at Son, that's all a body double that looks like him. It's not him.
Right.
Funny enough, right? If you look at this shot, and when you watch this shot again, and you look up the road, you'll see further up the road all the German tanks that are in the film, including the ones they dressed up to look like two Panthers, are in this shot. Very, very clever. They've put all the German vehicles up the end of that road,
Oh,
which
to make it look like more tanks are there.
exactly
Right.
because at that distance, all you can see are the ones in
Yeah.
the foreground. You just see
Right.
more vehicles, but they're all the German stuff that they have
Okay.
as well.
Okay. Okay.
So it's very good use of stuff in a shot just to give you nice depth of field and all
Right.
those kind of things. Good filmmakers' tricks, you know. So certainly employed a few of those in my time. Yeah, you can see the two German tanks in this shot. Those two further up, they've got slightly lower roofs. Those are the two West German tanks that they borrowed and converted. That one of the drivers got high whilst driving and drove through one of the buildings and knocked it over, which was very upset about. They were all smoking weed like in between takes and stuff, so you know, it was not particularly wise.
Yeah, I mean, were the gliders like this big on the
Yeah.
inside? I mean,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they're
They're
a lot bigger than they look.
Yeah, there's a really good one at the Pegasus Bridge Museum in Normandy, and I've been inside it and sat in the cockpit. You know, and it's they're really incredible feats of engineering, really. Incredible.
Right. Kind of, you think about it, it's a lot of resources for
Yeah.
what's potentially a one-use item. Uh,
So this is on screen now. This is the bridge at Daventer, which was used for the film. And if I pan a bit, you'll be able to see the very distinctive church is there, all still intact. And Arnhem had two churches. It had one like that and one with two steeples, which you can also see here on the left, right? And then these buildings here were all used in the movie. And then where this car park is, here on the left, is where they built this set. So these are the buildings being built next to the bridge.
oh, and that's where they were like, so when it starts out, it's a really nice house, and they start
Yeah,
blowing
yeah,
it up and stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Is
So
this the
that,
building that they shoot the Piat out of?
one of them is, yeah.
Okay. At the cars coming over the bridge.
Yeah, my friend
Yeah.
Paul Copley is the guy that actually fires that Piat. He's an actor friend of mine. So you can see here, they've got all the lights on top of the buildings and stuff like that. So that's all constructed. Now, if I take you to this is the exact street where they walk down as they're walking towards the bridge, and you see the church in the background. That's Daventer, right? But this one. Sorry, no, this is So this is still Daventer. This is all Daventer where the film was shot. This is Arnhem. So this is the real one. So you can see it's got a similar church, not exactly the same, but very similar. And you cross over Arnhem Bridge today, you can also see it's got the twin twin spire church in almost exactly the same place.
Right. Right.
So their typographical layout is almost identical, except this is where all of those buildings they were all completely destroyed during the battle, as were the ones on this side. That factory chimney was there. That was actually there at the time. So you can see how much it was devastated by the battle. So filming here was just completely impractical because it just didn't look the same
And is that
at all.
this is looking north?
This is on the south side looking north.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's Arnhem Bridge today, and then this is Daventer Bridge today, and it's still got all the original buildings by the river, all the original streets. It's a beautiful town actually, Daventer. If you ever get a chance to go, absolutely do. And so all the stuff in the streets that were filmed for Bridge Too Far were all filmed here. There was nothing shot in Arnhem at all, and including all the stuff in Osterbeek and the house and all of that stuff.
Where did they film that? What's the Nijmegen bridge crossing, right?
Nijmegen Bridge crossing is the real Nijmegen Bridge. They used that. That was called the $1 Million Hour because it cost them $1 million to film an hour there.
Right, and that was the real river and.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did. Yeah. They did the river crossing for real, but all of the stuff with Robert Redford was all shot in a tank. So they had a tank constructed, and all of his close-ups and all of the scenes with him. He didn't go across the river in a boat. And then all the wide stuff. The crossing was done for real, but it was done in reverse. So if you've been to Nijmegen and you know it, you can actually see when you see the shots, they're actually crossing from the north side of the river to the south in the movie because of where the bridge is in relation to them and everything. Whereas in reality, of course, it was south to the north.
Right?
Yeah, and they
what was the reason for that? Better lighting or something?
It was in terms of getting the perspective right, because otherwise you would have had the railway bridge in the way, and the railway bridge doesn't feature in the story in the movie.
Right, got it.
So, so that again, this is all during shooting. These are all the British extras hanging around. They actually stopped one of the buildings from burning down at one point because it caught fire. From
like the pyrotechnics and stuff.
I think it was someone's cigarette.
Okay.
Yeah, and this was quite near the beginning, and they nearly lost it, and all the British extras all like mucked in, and this is an incredible photo from the top after they've shot the initial attack with all the wreckage of
on the bridge.
Yeah, of the buildings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they had to have a ferry put in place especially to take the civilians across the bridge during filming when this was all going on. So it's pretty incredible stuff. This is all shot in a suburb of Deventer, a few streets away, and it's funny, this is the actual shot when all the bullets come up on the ground. You can see how many people were watching through the archway, cleverly cut out of frame by the DOP, but there's like about 50 people standing there. Obviously, That's as close as they could get, you know.
Oh, they were just like villagers and stuff?
Yeah, local civilians. Yeah, because this was the whole, when they shot the scene with 30 Corps arriving in Daventer, I'll show you what's absolutely mad about that.
Are you talking about when they
arrive in Eindhoven? Sorry.
Eindhoven, right, and all the people come out and celebrate?
Yeah. Sorry, because all of that was filmed in Daventer.
Right.
So again, it's all filmed streets away from each other, which is crazy. So like where this church is here, if we just go back and we go up. By the way, this is the lake where the where the blowing up of the Son Bridge took place. This bridge didn't exist back then. This is a footbridge that now exists in that same location. Back then, during filming, there was no bridge. So they constructed that bridge especially for the film, which actually, when I first watched the movie, I thought was a miniature. And they blew it up for real. But this isn't a river. It isn't even a canal. It's like a little...
Is that a man-made lake?
That's a man-made lake.
Okay.
Buslew, which Alan Tompkins found.
So that's the bridge they're running up to, and it gets blown up?
Yeah, Elliot Gould.
Okay. Elliot Gould.
And they blow it. Yep.
With Elliot Gould. So if I zoom out, you can see where this is in relation to Daventer's just here. So it's just down here. Daventer's here. And then when you come over the bridge, there's a massive market square, which is here called Brink, right? If you go into that Brink square and have a look around, this square is where all the jeeps are parked up during that scene before the briefing, right?
Okay.
Okay, when they come in, it's just here. And then this same square is also the scene where 30 Corps arrive at Eindhoven. This is all shot in exactly the same place. It's just filled up with people, and the way they've dressed it is obviously different. So you can't tell. And the cinema is just off of here. And then one street over, I think it's up this way somewhere, is that building which is the German command building with the Nazi flags. It's just round here somewhere.
Okay.
It's literally like 2 streets away. So that's all shot in exactly the same place as well. So all of the people from Daventer got involved, and they were all civilians from Daventer in that crowd scene,
Cool.
which had about, I think it was something like about 10,000 extras they had.
It looked like a lot.
Everybody wanted to get involved, and when the British actors were there, they said that the guys that played the APA, which is known as Attenborough's Private Army, they basically said that Dutch girls came from all over the country to sleep with them, because they wanted to say they slept with somebody on the movie. So all these young Dutch girls descended on Daventer, seeking out anybody who was working on the film. Sounds like a terrible thing to have to put up with. So I would have been very unhappy. But yeah, there you go. So that's just to give you some insight into the filming. It's kind of bonkers, right? When you see where it was all shot, and it's so much of it is so close to together.
Do you remember how long principal filming was for the whole thing?
It started in, I think the prep started in April '76, and it went through till the end of it was June, July, August, September. I think it was about 16 weeks, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was prep was April, because I know Alan went over in April, and they were prepping it April, May, prepping locations, and because the Hotel Hartenstein, there's no point looking at the location because there's nothing to see, but it was basically that there was a burnt out building there, and they kind of reconstructed it. It was round here somewhere, and next to that, they just down the road from that, they built the church and the house for the lady, and you see them getting bombed and gradually getting destroyed in the film. I've got shots of that. This is also during filming in Deventer, and then see that's that same square that I just showed you. So you can see all that. This is the bridge where Elliot Gould was. That's Elliot Gould standing there with the red arrows pointing. So that's at Busseloo, which we just looked at.
Mm-hmm. Right,
and then,
right.
And then this is the house that they kind of built. This was a wrecked house, and they built upon it to do the Hotel Hartenstein, which they then destroyed again. So it was a house that was already being demolished. This is a scene that was actually cut from the movie. There's a couple of scenes in the film that I've seen that are not in the standard release, which is a long story that I won't tell you now. But there was a working print of Bridge Too Far was accidentally released on video in 1982, and it's extremely rare, and it's got about 5 scenes that were cut from the final movie, including a scene with the 82nd getting ambushed trying to find Nijmegen Bridge. So this is Kate Cohosts' house. This is all a complete set, with the church built next door, and you hardly see this church in the film. It's only in about 3 or 4 shots. There was originally the scene of one of the characters doing a speech in the church, and all of that was cut. But that you'll see what it looks like on the other side. It looks like that. So there you go.
They really made it look like it was actually made of stone and everything.
Yeah, I know. When I saw it, I thought it was a real one.
I don't know. Why does it seem like everything you see these days looks cheap?
Well, most of the buildings in Band of Brothers were built exactly like this. We did a big thing.
That show looked great too.
Yeah, no, it did. I mean,
I feel like if you were to make this today, it would be obviously fake.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we went over there, because I was like, right, if we're going to shoot this series, we're going to film these 2 episodes in Holland, and if we're going to be pretending it's in Arnhem, we're going to go to Deventer, because we can pretend Deventer is still Arnhem. and I met the mayor and everything, and they were completely like totally up for us. It was just such a shame we never got the funding. Anyway,
Yeah.
let me let you get back to the movie. Stop
Well,
that.
thanks
Anna.
for sharing that. That's really interesting behind the
It
scenes
was.
stuff
Yeah, that was
that
incredible.
just going over the regular movie we're not going to see. You know what I mean?
Those
Right.
photos are from a unique collection. There's this
Yeah.
guy. He collects everything to do with Bridge Too Far, and he's got thousands of photos from filming. That he keeps getting them from various people's collections who've died and stuff, and he's putting it all in a museum. So he's got the original clapperboard from the movie. He's got everything. Loads of
Uh,
costumes.
I just one more question. What was the overall budget? Like, because you're building like whole
It was
sets like that and stuff.
if I remember rightly, I think it was $40 million.
Okay.
It was a really expensive film for the time, and there's this big myth that it was a turkey and it lost loads of money. That's completely untrue. The film was in profit before it was even released because the guy shot the battle sequence at the bridge first. He cut that together. He took that to Cannes. And he sold it all over. He pre-sold the film all over the world before the film had even been completed.
Yeah, if I would have seen that, I would have been like, yeah, I want to see this movie.
Yeah, they shot
Yeah.
they shot that sequence first. That was really early on in the schedule when it was really hot. It was like June, July. It was one of the hottest summers on record, 76. So 25 million. I thought I read 40 somewhere, but that was probably on a poster for inflated advertising.
And now that's the catering budget
Well, yeah.
for like a big Hollywood production.
I mean, the guys that played the extras, they said that the catering was terrible because one of them wrote a book about it, and yeah, he wasn't very happy.
It must have been really bad if he wrote a book about how bad the catering was.
It was well, he wrote a book about the whole thing.
Oh,
but
right. Okay. I thought you just meant like
no,
the
no, no,
catering
no.
was so bad
No,
he
it's
wrote a
called
book about it.
it's called The Boys at the Bridge. It's Albert
Okay.
Sabatini. He's one of the main extras at the bridge, and he wrote a book about it called The Boys at the Bridge.
Oh,
It's
okay.
quite a good fun account of.
Yeah.
That's how I know about the whole thing with all the women turning up.
Right, right. I don't know. I think it would have been even funnier if he would have wrote a book about how bad the catering was.
Well, it was only for their breakfast because they had some sort of army cook, and he basically made them this big kind of bowl of swill and
Right.
fed them like they were soldiers, so they didn't get the rest.
Oh, well, there. And this guy that wrote the book, is he Italian?
Don't know. Yeah, it's an Italian surname, but he was a British actor.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I was going to say, if he was Italian, then he really would not like the food.
No, probably not.
Were these actual footage from World
No.
War II, or did they actually?
No, this is
Do
they
it.
did 3 jumps for the movie.
Wow.
They had 3,000 extras, so a lot of you get all the shots with the Dakotas, but they also had people jumping from modern aircraft on top of these. as
Okay.
well. So
Wow.
they get the Dakotas coming in first, and then the other guys would come in slightly higher and drop even more people, so that you had these amazing shots with hundreds of people coming down.
This-
They only had 12 or 13 Dakotas.
Right. The scene where they actually show the people jumping out and they got the camera on the door, and then they put a camera on a guy and have him jump out is
That's
amazing.
right. Yeah, yeah.
That's
And I mean,
one of the best scenes in the whole movie.
especially when you consider this is 76 and
Right.
how heavy cameras were.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, this
Yeah.
guy had like a full film camera on his head
Yeah.
when he did that. You know.
Yeah, they had an aeroplane camera and they had a helicopter.
Right. But
And
this.
by the way, this jump actually took place where this jump happened. So this was all done on Ginkle Heath, which was the really big drop zone. The drop zone that was furthest away is where they did this, and so that's Ginkle Heath. You can actually see below, which
The other thing I like about this scene is there's no real music. It's just the sound of them going out the plane. And then when the guy goes out the plane and he's got the camera on his head and the chute pops, it gets quiet.
right.
Yeah, I really like that. And then the guys drop
Funny
their
enough,
gear.
in my re-edit, there is music in it. I'll put the Band of Brothers music, which is very unintrusive but quite emotional. Yeah, so because I rescored the whole film
Oh, really?
completely.
Yeah, I have to watch that. I looked it up. I mean, I saw where it is on. It's like 3 hours and something. Um,
It's 4.5 actually.
is it? Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah,
It was good.
yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's I mean it's so seamless that like if you'd never
Yeah.
seen any of the things, you'd just think it was one long movie.
Right. Yeah, but
Yeah,
this
this
shot
is
when they were
great.
doing this.
I mean, you can actually hear the guy "Ugh," when he
Yeah,
hits
when he
with.
when it hits the airstream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there was one. I think they had one fatality during this exercise.
Mm.
It was all ex-forces people or people currently serving that did the jump. I think there was a few ex-paras and whatnot.
Yeah, it looked. It did look very military. It didn't.
Yeah,
They're using stanchion lines and everything. It's not like skydivers or
yeah.
something.
No,
And it looked really cool. And you get just the parachutes and the. Imagine the fear you would feel if you were a German on the ground seeing all this happen.
yeah,
And the other scene that I really like is when 30 Corps goes to roll out. They bombard. They do that rolling bombardment
yeah.
into the
That's
tree
great
line.
sequence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm.
and just the terror that there's one guy's holding his ears, in his
yeah,
head, and he's down, and explosions going off, and then they just immediately recover and start the counterattack. And you would think nothing would be able to survive in that at all,
yeah.
but yeah. Is that a set or is that a real building?
That's the set. They
Okay.
built that on top of a structure of an old house. So that house was ruined. So there was a framework there, and
Oh, so this is the one that they use this. That later they'll blow up as the hotel.
it becomes the
Yeah.
British headquarters,
Right. Okay.
the Hartenstein, and
Yeah.
there's a great museum where the actual Hartenstein is, and some really good artifacts in it, and it's got this kind of cool exhibit in the basement where you go round. There's lots of lights, and it's a bit like being back there. It's very cool, very well done.
So I think we just passed the scene where Mortal goes, "Well, they're not here for the bridges; they're here for me." Oh,
Yeah, which
and
he actually did
Yeah.
think.
yeah, yeah, and
Because he was thinking, well, they wouldn't be there for the bridge because if you're going to take a bridge, you land on top of it, basically.
yeah,
Right.
Um,
Right. Yeah.
um,
Instead of 8 kilometers away or whatever.
even
Yeah.
even 2 days into the operation, they still didn't. When they had the captured plans and everything, they still didn't
Right.
believe.
Right.
And those captured plans, by the way, were taken into the air by an American officer.
Mm.
So naughty, naughty.
Yeah.
That was shot there. They were recovered from a Waco glider in the
Mhm.
101st Airborne
Well, I
section.
mean, and the realistic general response is these can't possibly be the real plans, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they didn't think they were real for at least 2 days.
Mhm.
So these you can see an American Waco glider in the background there of this shot. That is actually a massive cut out piece of cardboard.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, it looks 3D, and there's a few of
Does.
those in a few shots. But
So
yeah,
it's just painted like OD green on one side.
yeah, and it's got a load of
Yeah.
scaffolding,
Yeah.
behind it on
Holding
the
it
other,
up. Okay.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And all these scenes were all shot on the same sort of, all the American, all the British stuff. It was all shot over the same 3 days,
Mhm.
basically all in the same location. They just redressed and loads of American extras on the ground. All the cameras had to be hidden under camouflage as well, so that they wouldn't be picked up from the airborne shots. You can see like one of them if you really pause and look
Mhm.
on like a 4K copy. These things you
Yeah,
can.
that's the other thing about all these new 4K updates is
know,
you start
I
to
know.
see a lot more of the movie magic coming to light.
I mean,
Um,
the great thing with a film like this is when you've got the team that they had. There's such attention to detail. That sort of
Right.
stuff. It's not like you're looking at errors. It's actually you're picking out even more effort that they made
Mhm. Right. Yeah.
on stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
What was I watching the other day? Oh, Stargate, and it looked great, but all of them had reflective glasses on, and you could see like all the all the crew and everything in the reflection in their glasses.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah, this party's like, look, we found the plan. Somebody brought. It's like these are obviously fake.
this is
But-
this is no, this I don't think that's this scene. That comes a bit later.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah. This is where they're all trying to work out what's going on, and straight away he says Nijmegen and they after the bridge. But at the minute, they still don't think that.
Right.
His character, by the way, is based on two different German officers. The guy that what's his name is playing from Hardy Kruger from the Wild Geese is playing. He's based on two different guys. It's a kind of composite character.
This guy.
Yeah. Okay. So General Ludwig is his character name. But that's not a real person.
Okay.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This guy is Fallschirmjäger, right?
No, he's 10th SS Panzer Division.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah, there was, the Fallschirmjäger were involved in the battle. They were on the front line.
Right. Yeah,
So-
they were over in the American sector, I think, right?
They were predominantly with the 101st. There was some in the British sector as well because there were different units that were dispersed right up and down the corridor. Some of them were bivouacked further in, but the majority of them were right in the front line. They were put there to sort of form a crust after the Allied momentum slowed down. So that's why it took them.
Uh-oh.
Took them a while.
Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Oh, it sounded like maybe your headset came unplugged or mic or something.
No. I just moved the mic a bit closer.
Okay, there you go.
But there's one thing that the film doesn't cover well, which is this bit here. It makes them seem like they're already heading towards Nijmegen Bridge. This actually didn't happen. There was a confusion between General Gavin and a guy called, I think his name was Colonel Lindquist, and the orders to take the bridge. I mean, this is unbelievable. Didn't get issued until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The unit that thought it was supposed to go there got confused and went somewhere else. And so they didn't, by the time they started moving out towards the bridge, the Germans, by this time were well sort of alerted and everything. And they as soon as they entered the town, there was ambushes left and right. And so that was a massive cock-up. I mean, the Americans should have dropped forces north of the bridge as well. You're going to take a bridge, you drop forces both sides. It's,
Right.
not rocket science. It's so many lessons that were learned in Normandy were not applied here. That's the thing that's really weird about the planning of it.
Well, you got to remember, though, like, they were still putting all of this together. You know what I mean? Like, we now have generational knowledge of warfare that's built up from
Sure.
World War II. You know, like, I mean,
No, it's
even
easy to be an armchair general in hindsight, isn't it? But
Was there actually a nut house? That
this is all
got
true.
hit?
Yeah, this is all true. It was a insane asylum just outside of Oosterbeek, near not far from the landing site. And it was bombed by the British in the morning,
Yeah.
so it was their fault, and that they had some loonies wandering around. Don't think you can call them that
Now,
now.
I think-
Mentally challenged individuals.
where
Yes.
like, the director, Attenborough, is one of those crazy people.
Is he?
I recall reading that,
I don't know. I've checked the shots and I've not seen him
you know.
in it.
Let me go grab the Wikipedia. Hold on a minute.
That's not. He didn't tend to do cameos in his films, He was a real lovey, and he was.
Okay. So I'm
Yeah.
on the Richard Attenborough, lunatic wearing glasses, uncredited cameo.
Is he really? I've never read
But I
that.
didn't
right
on
there.
I read it on
Yeah.
something else.
That's him right there.
Yeah.
He
No,
looks like, what's his face? Matt Walsh.
that's not him, because I've got photographs of him on set, and he doesn't have a beard. When he shot Bridge Too Far, he doesn't have a beard.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know who that is, but
Unless he has like a fake beard on.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he looks a bit young for Attenborough there. But I mean, maybe, unless this was like shot towards the end, and maybe he grew a beard. So I
That
guess
lunatic in front looks like someone we've seen elsewhere too.
he looks a bit like John Hurt from Alien,
Yeah, but not.
but not.
We've
Yeah.
probably seen this guy on like a ton of TV shows or whatever.
I
There's
think,
so many
I think most of them were local, just local Dutch extras.
Yeah. Well, I've watched a lot of European TV over the years. I'm always looking for science fiction, fantasy, and horror. You know what I mean? And like when I watch a movie like this, I'm looking at the background actor, and I'm like, I know I've seen that guy somewhere before. Now I'm in a hospital now, so I'm laying in a hospital bed with a laptop. If I were home with my setup, I'd be like, when this movie pops up, I would be like freeze framing, Google image searching, piling up notes, if not even for this, just for myself. Because it drives me crazy when I can remember some dude's face in a movie. I can't figure out where I've seen them before.
Yeah, I'm quite good at nailing them down.
Yeah, this is a scene that I was talking about. This
so this was actually shot on an actual military range, not a million miles away from Deventer. It's over on the east. It's all owned. All of this ground is all owned by the Dutch army. So all of this whole sequence and the sequences around it were all shot there.
Yeah, it's like, see, they're all dug in here, and they got their I think these are Pac 40s, anti-tank guns, which are really good.
Yeah.
And they finally just bomb them.
Yeah, they bring in the Hurricanes with the rockets. Yep. Which is because they had air superiority.
Yeah.
And by this point, for the most part. And if they have good weather, then yeah, that's it. Basically, they made it so the Germans couldn't even move at the daytime.
Yeah, I mean the Allied air power was quite effective on the first day and a half. After that, it was pretty useless. Even the British at the bridge at Arnhem, they got attacked by a German F-109 Fokker, and the British actually shot it down, and it crashed in the. There was like a pond next to the church with the two towers. It crashed into that pond, which was,
well,
quite a nice little incident.
From a military technology and development point of view, so the Germans were extremely dug in. Like, from every ground they conquered, they were digging underground bunkers, German concrete, and all that stuff. And the air power that we initially had took out obvious emplacements, killed guys on the ground and whatever. But all those heavy-duty emplacements, we didn't have, like, penetrated bombs that can go 35 feet underground or whatever. Or, bombs that could suck all the oxygen out of a bunker and kill guys that way. Or, like that was all stuff developed in light of all this, I hate to say it, learning experience in World War II. Military technology rocketed up the hill in terms of destructive and deadly capability after this.
Yeah. Here we go. Guy finds the papers.
Yeah, that's the glider at Vought.
I'd like to have that bag that all the papers are in. That's cool.
And his pristinely pressed and cleaned uniform for the entire movie.
Yep.
Gotta look sharp in the field, gentlemen.
So they have like two different types of radios, and neither one of them work.
Yeah, they had all kinds of radio issues. Part of the problem was that there were so many operations that were cancelled in the preceding 6 weeks, radios were being packed and unpacked constantly. You know, onto planes, off of planes, etc., etc. And this is why things like batteries and stuff like that you got mixed up. And you've got to remember as well, these are fragile pieces of equipment. It's not
Yeah.
like a mobile phone that you can drop on the ground and, you know, you can probably hope for the best sort of thing.
Yeah.
Isn't the explanation in the movie is that these were the kind of radios that worked well in the desert, and they just assumed that they would work good here. But I guess because of the trees and ground clutter, it does.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's,
it doesn't have quite line of sight like it did in the
that's
desert.
that's part of the reason, but also just like the batteries were not up to par. They'd been worn out and they weren't checking them.
Okay.
Just
I
doing
also
it.
remember somebody saying something about a crystal set.
Yeah, one set was the set that they're supposed to speak to the UK with was delivered with the wrong crystals. So
Yeah. So this is all
they're quite
in
useless.
the
They say.
in the era of analog and where you needed crystals and
Like vacuum tubes and stuff.
vacuum tubes and
Yeah.
there weren't digital circuits. Plus, you have the inverse square law. So for these radios to work optimally, not only like you mentioned the battery issue, as the battery gets weaker, the signals get weaker. They had to be directional, meaning like nowadays we can broadcast a signal all around our cell phones with the radios, so we don't know, or anything else. Back then, for these radios to connect across these distances, they basically had to aim them, unless they were close enough to it where and they landed a little askew, and then they didn't. I don't think they tested these devices very much. I just assumed they would work.
This woman, Kate Cohosts, who you see coming out of the house with her children, who later became known as the Angel of Arnhem, played by Lee Ullman in the film. I mean, that's a woman who deserves to have a movie made about her
Yeah.
life, because she was just quite incredible, and her life was just full of tragedy. One of her two sons was killed by stepping on a landmine.
Yeah.
Right after the war, he jumped out of a treehouse and in their garden, and there was a bloody German landmine in the garden that no one had found, killed him. And she herself was killed tragically on the streets of Oosterbeek. You know, she was an old lady by this time, so she did live to a fair old age. But there was a police car chasing someone who'd stolen a car through the town, and the police car came careering round the corner, killed her. So that was really, really tragic. I think the driver of the police car was absolutely distraught because she's a massive national, local hero as well, you know. So her life was, it's kind of, I don't know, it's a really sad tale because she gave so much, you know, to then have all of that happen to her.
Yeah, this is a scene where they're rushing a bridge and it just
Yeah.
blows up. Yeah.
So that's that location in the Russaloo Nature Reserve. I always remember when I saw the shot of it going boom, which is that one. I thought that was a miniature when they cut to that angle.
It kind of does look like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could see that.
And that's what I always thought, but actually no, I've got the shots of them filming it from that angle, and it's the same thing. They blew it up for real, built it for real, blew it up for real, and I think the Dutch people decided, we might build a footbridge here afterwards, and that's where the footbridge is now. So
well, it is the narrowest part between the two shores.
It's a great location, and I mean it's supposed to be over a canal, but it works really well.
Right. But what I mean is to build that footbridge makes sense because it's the closest point between both shores if you're trying to get across.
Yeah. Elliot Gould is absolutely brilliant in this film. He throws so much energy into the character, which makes him so markedly different from the other American characters in the movie. I think it really works. Again, his character Bobby Stout is a composite of 3 different people.
Right. Yeah, and I think this like towards the height of his career, unless you count like the Ocean's movies later. But
Yeah, I mean he was a big name. They wanted
mhm.
John Wayne for Robert Redford's role, and they
I think he was pretty sick by this point.
that was
Yeah.
he told Attenborough, I haven't got long, and I don't want to spend my time working, so they got Robert Redford, but they called it the raid on Hollywood. He basically went over there with a load of money and some contracts where this is the producer, not Richard Attenborough, and came back with a load of stars signed up.
Yeah, it's pretty star-studded and packed.
Yeah. So this is the scene where he doesn't believe the plans. I love the way they cast this really kind of like dopey, slightly overweight German soldier.
Yeah, the sergeant in the background.
Not a front line.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not. You can see he's not SS. He hasn't got an SS uniform. He's got regular
Right.
Wehrmacht.
Yeah.
So probably a foot and mouth unit they used to call them, which is made up of all the people that were injured or had sort of disabilities and whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, I do know that. Mando's here. I don't know if you saw that.
Hey, Mando.
Jacob.
Is she down?
I don't know. I can't see.
Oh yeah, I haven't got the YouTube link open. I should have it open. In a minute.
I do know that. I know getting assigned to a sector like this as a German soldier back then was kind of like the dream position to be in. You're not on the Eastern Front. It's a quiet sector.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. No, absolutely. The desirable.
I think the only better place to be stationed would probably be like Norway. There's nothing going on up there.
So,
Hang on, Mando.
so there was a in the accidentally released rough cut of the film that momentarily came out on VHS in about 1981, roughly around then. There's a very famous shot in that. I've got the original script, by the way, and all these shots are all in that script. And
Hey, Mando.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
they basically show the British marching into Arnhem, and they or this jeep go past with Sean Connery in it when he's looking to get back to the unit, and then they stay on that road, and then they show all these German boots going past, which shows that the Germans are already behind the British lines. That was a really good shot that was in that cut of the movie, but they took it out. I don't know why. I guess it was for running time. So yeah, this is the bridge at Daventer.
When they were marching, I was so confused at their camo attire, and I'm so glad that they acknowledged that
Yeah.
they were dressed wrong. Did they really show up like that?
Well, I mean, there was no other camo pattern for. I mean, paratroopers had only just been invented.
That's true.
You know.
A lot of them were they were jumping for the first time
Yeah.
in the theater.
Yeah, there were. I mean, actually, Frost's men. Most of the guys at the bridge. There's Alan Armstrong on the left, by the way, in that left of frame there. He's a very famous actor now, still alive. But yeah, most of the guys in Frost's unit had all fought in North Africa, and they went through some pretty brutal drops there. There was one drop they did where they then got caught by this massive wind on landing, and half of them got blown over this cliff in a desert gorge. Massive drop. Loads of them were killed. It was disaster. Yeah, most of the operations they took part in North Africa were all disasters, which is why we haven't had movies about them. small scale operations with 150 guys, 200 guys, that kind of thing. Nothing like this. I love this woman who plays the old lady, plays the mother. This is my
Yeah.
house.
And he's like, let me take you in here and close these doors. That's
Yeah,
gonna
and you get
protect you.
there's so many valuable these antiques and kind of
Yep.
china,
Yeah.
and he's got such a nice, well kept house. And
Yeah. I just always thought that was funny how he closed it. Like, this will protect everything.
so that windmill that you can see in the background, that windmill is still there at Dave Enter. And next to that, they built a little set, which is kind of supposed to be the command post of the Germans later. And there's a great shot later in the movie. I'll have to shoot off relatively soon, but you'll see it when he says flatten Arnhem, and he comes down. The guy with the white flag comes down the steps, and they've got 2 German SP guns and stuff. That's all right next to that windmill is where that was shot. It's a really good shot. There's so much stuff put into every shot. What I like about the way Richard Attenborough films, when you look at shots that he sets up to start off scenes, there'll be 2 people talking in a room, and then outside the window there'll be a guard, and then past that guard there'll be a jeep going past. He puts all this different stuff at different distances from the camera, so he really fills up the shot with a lot of interesting things, and he does that like throughout the film.
Really layers in the scene.
Yeah. They built that pillbox, of course, on the side of that's just basically in the middle of the footway.
Right. Right. I mean, in real life, it had one though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, all of this stuff really happened. There's very little stuff in Bridge that's not accurate. There are some characters. It's not Robert Redford that does the scene where he has a go at the guy with the tank. That was a different officer who had a go at that British guy.
Right.
The whole drink tea line. This really happened with the flamethrower. All of this stuff is all real.
Oh, where they missed the bunker and hit the magazine.
Yeah, that really
blows it up anyway.
Yeah.
And the bridge had been recently repainted from damage from when Holland was first invaded. So all the paint caught fire, which lit up the bridge for the whole rest of the night. And that's what stopped them from crossing over to the south side, because it was lit up for the rest of the night, because it took ages for the paint to burn off.
Oh, you're talking about on the actual bridge itself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought you meant that little shack had all the extra paint.
No. This happened in reality as well. Yeah, and they do a shot of it. The last shot of it, when you cut away, you can see the whole bridge is lit up. I don't think it was ever established what was in that ammo dump, but
I just assumed it was extra ammo for the machine gun bunker.
No, I think there was a bit more in there.
Maybe grenades or something.
It could have even been explosives to wire up the bridge.
Oh, yeah. In case they had to blow the bridge.
Yeah, so... So, I certainly wouldn't have wanted to be in that pillbox.
No, me neither.
There it is.
Yeah, so...
because the bridge was burning, it illuminated it too much for them to cross.
That's right, yeah.
Right, okay, because people could have just shot them as they come across. Right.
So, this sequence here, the first shot where you see the aerials of the vehicles coming up and they put the camera low on the road to get that shot, that was the idea of the first camera operator, who's actually been on my channel, and he ended up directing Rambo 3 later in his career when Russell McColhey got fired from it because he got too far behind. So this shot was Peter McDonald's idea, this whole shot of them slowly emerging over the road. And they've got a couple of original German half-tracks in all of this lot, and the rest of these are all converted British Army vehicles that they brought over to Holland on a boat. And in behind the scenes, you can see them being like unloaded. They basically built kind of fake bodywork on them to make them look more German, more like the German designs.
Right. I
But
know
the
that.
actual commander, sorry, he had a British vehicle. Did you know that? He had a British vehicle that they captured in Normandy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he
Frank
rode
painted
around in
it.
that. Yeah, but they didn't put him in that for the film because they just knew that would confuse people.
Oh, in
Yeah.
real life,
Yeah,
he was riding around in a.
he had a British Humber
Okay.
he was in,
I
which
guess when you're a commander, you can kind of do whatever you want.
he liked it because it was
Yeah.
really fast and nimble, but not
Right. Right.
particularly good for protection because they were tiny.
Yeah.
This whole sequence is one of the best action sequences filmed in cinema. Period.
And this is the one that they filmed, and then they took the cons, right? And
They
pushed
they
and got
they
the.
yeah. This was the first action sequence shot for the movie.
Okay, and this is what they were able to pre-sale and kind
Yeah,
of be
yeah,
profitable.
because
Right.
he wanted to get this in the can. The
Yeah,
producer.
you can tell that vehicle that skidded on its side. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not any kind of German vehicle.
No,
It
it's
just kind of
been, yeah.
it
But
kind of
also,
looks like one, but it's not really.
to be fair to the German army, they would basically grab absolutely anything from tractor factories and whatever and convert it. That's why the 21st Panzer Division in Normandy has all these weird looking vehicles because they all come from the tractor factory outside of Paris and they've all been converted to weird armored
Right.
cars and SP guns, but they're not of
Yeah.
a standard German
I
design.
know that they liked French tanks because they were actually better, at least the ones at the start of the war. So they took a bunch of those Czech tanks.
Yeah, they had some in Arnhem.
Yeah.
They had some French Renaults in Arnhem, but on the other side of Oosterbeek, so nowhere near the bridge.
Right.
But this is an amazing sequence. There's about 5 different edits of this that exist, by the way. And the edit of this battle sequence on the rough cut is very different. It's got loads more shots in it.
Yeah. And then it feels like both sides thought, oh, we'll just rush to the other end of the bridge and take it, no problem. And then it didn't work out for either.
That battle actually went on for about 6 hours, rather than the few minutes here.
Right.
The Germans actually refused to give up, and about 4 of their vehicles actually got through. They managed to skid round the mines. That's what you see them doing at the beginning, and then they caused the British loads of problems in the back streets later. But then the rest of them all got into the crash and panicked, and people tried to reverse, and that's when they all got massacred.
Right.
I do like this line here. I was a bit surprised to find Beatrix Panzer troops here, sir.
Yeah.
The guy with the umbrella, he really did that, right?
That
Yeah.
guy
Just walked around with just a umbrella.
in the movie. He's a composite character. In real life, that was Digby Tartham Walther. And he
Wow,
actually
can you get a more British name than that?
He did. He had a very British name. He actually survived the battle. In the movie, his character dies, but in the battle, he survived. He survived and he escaped.
Oh, across the river? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, as part of Operation Pegasus, which you see in Band of Brothers.
Right.
This is the sequence that I just showed you, the stills. So just out of shot down that archway, there's about 50 people standing, watching, and it's such a quiet sequence in the movie.
Well, they need like 20 of them just to vacuum off Sean Connery's uniform every scene, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, because of how clean he looked the whole entire
Yeah.
time.
Even like there's a giant dust cloth when that guy got shut up. He runs back into it and comes out uncovered by dust.
Yeah. He's Sean Connery.
This part,
Oh, yeah.
the German guy just
This
walking
actually,
along.
this actually happened. This really happened. He did this. He killed this guy, shot him through the window. It's in his personal account of the battle. He was one of the first people to write a book on it, actually, which came out way before Cornelius Ryan's. I think he wrote it in like '56. I've got a copy of that. So these back streets are all in Dave Enter, where they filmed the rest of it again.
That part looks like they could have, to me, looks like they could have filmed it in the UK. With like
Yeah,
the
they
gardens
could
and
have,
the
but
walls and stuff.
the architecture of the Dutch buildings
Yeah,
is
it's a
very,
little
very
different.
specific.
Yeah.
It's the same with like stone walls in Normandy. If you want Normandy to look like Normandy, you need those walls. You've either got to build them on your set or you've got to go to Normandy.
Right, right. Yeah, like these little sheds or whatever they are,
Yeah,
in the backs of the gardens and stuff. I don't know. It looks really cool.
yeah,
Looks,
that's very
yeah,
Dutch.
yeah,
Although
yeah.
those porches that you see at the back of the houses, they're additional. They would not have existed in the 40s.
Right.
You can tell they've been added on later.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't have been a 1940s, pre-1940s design.
Hmm. Right.
So that's a converted modern tank to look like a Jaguar.
Yeah, I think that's a. I'm trying to
Ja-
think of the name of the tank.
Yeah,
Um,
they couldn't find any running tanks of the type that were at the battle, which was Panzer IV, Stug. There's quite a few of them around now, but at the time when they shot this, people just collectors weren't in touch with each other pre-internet. It was much harder to get hold of these things.
Hey,
But
look,
they
it's
did a good job. So
it's I can't think of his name.
Gene
Gene Hackman,
No, the other guy.
Elliot,
Yeah.
what's his name? Denham Elliott from
Yeah, but
Indiana
he,
Jones.
the character that he plays in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, he plays.
Yeah.
What's it? Yeah, the one who's getting
Marcus.
off. Marcus.
Marcus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in
he's
many
like,
other things,
he's like, he speaks 5 languages. You'll never find him. And then it cuts to him.
Yeah.
He's like, excuse me, does anybody speak English?
That's really funny.
Yeah. He's in the new video game too. The Indiana Jones video game. Not that actor, but the character, which is
Oh,
really
okay.
good. Yeah, I really like his
No,
character.
the actor died sadly a long
Yeah.
time ago. So yeah, he wouldn't be in there.
Did you guys already talk about Gene Hackman's
Yeah.
horrible Polish accent?
Not yet.
It's funny because there's one actor that Attenborough didn't get on with, and everybody assumes always that it's Gene Hackman because his performance gets criticised a lot. Because Attenborough never named the actor. He said, "I didn't get on with him. I didn't like the performance he gave." And we were barely on speaking terms when he left, but it was actually James Caan that caused him all the problems. So that is the square in Dave Enter again, now filled with people. So that's your same square that was filled with jeeps earlier in the movie.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that like a newsstand kiosk or something?
Yes.
There?
Yeah, it is. There's loads of those.
Yeah.
All over Europe, everywhere, selling magazines and puzzle books and cigarettes.
Yeah, I just looked it up. He died in like 1992.
Yeah, Denham Elliott. Denham Elliott died of an HIV-related
And
illness.
he was in so much stuff, like,
Superb actor.
A Room with a View, he's most well known for that in the comic side character, Indiana Jones, but he was in so many, you know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
So this scene that you've got here, while you're still watching it, before I go, I'm going to see if I can find this same scene in my edit of Bridge Too Far. It's slightly different. Yeah, I think I've got it here. So, hang on, I'll pull it up. Just to give you an example of how things vary slightly. I think we'd better keep the sound off though. So this is the scene where his Dutch advisor comes in to see him and basically say, we can't get through to Nijmegen. Every street around it is occupied, every building. There's Germans in every building. So what I did was I took that scene and I cut it with exactly that so you can see how difficult it was to get.
yeah, this movie is not Attenborough's best work as a director.
So in my cut, I've cut all the stuff in that he's talking about, so you can see it. Well, I mean, it's just I've got the luxury of doing this
Yeah.
years later and picking and choosing all these clips from other movies.
What
But
was the what was the scene from with the Germans in the trench?
so that was all from the Forgotten Battle, which covers Operation Market Garden, and then also the Battle for the Island later.
Okay.
But the Forgotten Battle also has the entire air fleet going in, so I've cut all of the air fleet in with all the shots from Bridge Too Far, so that I've got all the shots of gliders and everything in the air now in this version.
Okay. Okay.
So it's I mean, you guys have got the link for it. It's on Rumble, so you can watch it at your
Yeah, it's
leisure.
really cool. I recommend
If you
you have the
enjoy
time
this
to watch
film,
that.
you'll love this version. I mean, I just did it purely for fun. And I'm not trying to disrespect the directors of any of the movies. I just wanted to create my own super mega version of Bridge
Yeah.
2, covering as much of the operation as possible, including things that they left out of Bridge. But I'd better scooch off now because it's
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for
15 a.m. here.
thank you for coming on so late.
No,
Thanks.
no worries at all. Do you want me to put my camera on for 2 seconds and I'll just show you this call sheet before I go?
Sure.
Is that all right? Here you go. So I don't know if you want to make me bigger. So this is a call sheet from Bridge Too Far. So this was given to me by Renica Kramer. If you go onto my Wikipedia page, there's a picture of me with Renica, who is basically Richard Attenborough's PA for the whole movie. So she was on set every single day working out of the production office which was in Daventer, but sometimes she'd be on set with him. So you can see here it lists all the people that were required to be on set that day, the various different extras and the locations and things. And then you've even got a map attached to it of where the filming was taking place at Lent, Nijmegen Bridge, and you can see the locations marked and all of that stuff, and all the notes for the assistant director about vehicles that are required, props, and so yeah. So that's an original call sheet from Bridge Too Far, which I treasure very much. So not too many of them floating around now. So.
God, goodness, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's very interesting just to see the amount of work that went into one day and one scene, and how long that scene took to film, and
All the planning for that,
yeah.
that has to go into place before you can get to that point is it's a,
Well,
mind-boggling.
you probably know that I directed Mauler's movie, the one that's online now, called All in Good Time, and we had a 3-day shoot on that. And it was all planned. It was all in the planning, We though the shoot was relatively simple, there was also a lot that could go wrong with blood effects and people getting shot and this kind of thing. So I made sure that we did all the difficult stuff on day one and got it out of the way early. And then everything went so smoothly after that we actually finished half a day early and $5,000 under budget, which is unheard of. That just doesn't happen. But because it was properly funded, I was able to shoot in a way that, like I was on a feature film, I shot in the kind of the pace and the style that I would shoot a feature film. And that's why we were able to complete it the way we were. And because we had a pretty decent budget as well, I had all my best people on, all the HODs and heads of department and all of that. So, yeah, there you are. So, when you've got the right people in place, and you've got the right money and time, and you're not under too much pressure, you can make a really good movie. And they spent a long time making Bridge Too Far and cutting it right. And Attenborough had you look at the IMDb profiles of the key people, like the director of photography, the Vic Armstrong, who was in charge of the stunt team. All of these people are massive people in the industry. Jeff Unsworth, the director of photography, and the first AD as well. They're huge names. They've all worked on massive, massive movies. But we just don't seem to get films like this anymore. And I think that's mainly because you've got too much ego with people at the top trying to make $20 million or $10 million of every film they work on, and then that money is not filtering down to the production, sadly. So it's not being spent in the right places proportionately. That's why we don't get films like this now. It's not that we can't make them. It's just that filmmaking as a system, in Hollywood anyway, is a bit broken. The money doesn't go on the right things, in my opinion. Anyway, that's a topic for another time.
I'm back. Can y'all hear me?
Yes. I
Yeah.
rambled for a bit, so I covered.
That's all right.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm very grateful to be
Yeah,
invited.
good to have you on. Glad you could make the time.
I'm so passionate about this film. I think it's one of the best films ever made on an operation of World War II. There's really only this and The Longest Day that are the two that are like really accurate. They really did them correctly. You know, you've got other films
Yeah.
like The Battle of the Bulge where like everything in it is wrong. It just doesn't look right. Nothing in it is right. But this is really in a league of its own. It's right up. I'll say that- Thanks, guys. Really, watch it tomorrow.
Yep. Have a good night.
Yep. Have a good one, man. Thanks for coming on and showing us all that stuff.
No problem. And I think I've followed everybody on Twitter as well. So, all right.
All right. Awesome.
Take
Have a good
care.
night. Yep.
Bye. Bye.
All right. Yeah, having a thunderstorm here, so knocks me off.
Ah.
Get it back up here. There we go. All right, where were we? Yeah, some of the scenes that Lance put in on his version, like, or you can't even tell, they're so seamless, and the quality of the film from 1977, it goes together well.
It's borderline obscene what you can do with modern software because, like I
It is.
mentioned, particularly that scene with like Conan and Achilles and Aragorn and 8 other heroes from other movies, and like walking around and talking and stuff and having a meeting, and I'm like, it's relatively seamless.
Yeah,
Imagine what you could do if you want to piece together a World War II European campaign with all like 8,000 movies and TV shows. You know what I mean? You
yeah.
could like a person can do like an 800 episode miniseries now, just piecing it together with software.
Which somebody will probably do.
There was a good little scene. He's like, where's the captain?" The guy's like, "He's dead." He's like, "I didn't say how he was. I said, where is he?" I made a promise to this dude.
Oh, this, yeah. So I was,
Yeah. I felt like they could have maybe cut this out of the movie and it'd have
Yeah.
been okay.
It could
I
have,
don't
but
think they did
I
it
thought it
very
was still
effectively.
intense.
No, I agree with intent. I don't think they did it very effectively. Like watching the movie, I was not sure he was real. I was like, why is he picking up a dead guy? You know. Then I'm like, okay, he's recovering the body. Then somehow, like there was, I didn't see any indicators he was still alive at all. You
Yeah,
know,
same.
like you think you would have checked his heartbeat or something. You know.
Like, uh, it just goes kind of on, and nowhere else in the film does it kind of focus in on a single person like this.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the whole time, what does this got to do with the operation? Other than being a James Caan coolness vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it was.
Yeah. So,
I mean, they could have cut his character completely out of the film.
I
like,
don't
all
mind the
story
character
points.
and stuff, but just this whole sequence,
Yeah.
like maybe this really happened. The guy really did like run a blockade and all this stuff, and they wanted to put it in here. But out of everything in the movie, I felt like this one was just kind of like, all right, and
Yeah.
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a bunch of stuff they could have edited down a little bit, like
I just didn't see how this fit into the story. Is all I'm saying.
well, I think they were trying to I don't know, I was trying to say, okay, this is how desperate things were, that people were doing things like this. But I don't know. I mean, I think we got the sense of desperation from what this thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, why is he holding the gun on the doctor? Like,
Well, because the doctor
he had a hole in
refused.
his head.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, as far as if you're going to have the scene in, I guess it was okay with how it played out.
And
I
we
just
have
felt
no
like,
indication that that dude is alive at all until the doctor calls for someone.
right.
Yeah.
Wow, is that the thunder outside there,
I can
Jacob?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, it sounded like somebody kicked a filing cabinet down the stairs.
Yeah. That's what it
See,
sounded
see,
like.
An empty filing cabinet down this flight of stairs.
see, the gun pointing scene makes sense because he goes home to his dad, Don Corleone, after the war. And he's very,
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
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 you know. Do you know who I am? I call that guy like Corporal Mustache. Does the MP? He shows up, I think, in some other scenes in the background. Hey, Gadfly.
Here's
Hey,
where they're
Gadfly.
making the bridges.
I like this
across.
scene.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, the first thing that came to mind when I watched this scene, if you're our age, I guess you would say the G.I. Joe toy with the pontoon bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of this is costing them in real life is costing them time because they told the paratroopers at Arnhem that they needed to hold out for, I believe it was 48 hours was
Yeah.
the plan. They just needed to hold for 48 hours, and they wind up holding it for significantly longer than they were
Yeah.
planned to. But that's pretty normal in the military for stuff to happen like that. You know, hey, you're only going to be on this temporary assignment for 45 days, and then like 120 days later, you finally go home.
Well, hey, guys, you're going on a temporary assignment to South Korea.
Yep. Yeah. But that's happened to me. They were like, hey, we need you to fill in for this guy, like, in this other unit. You'll only be gone 45 days, and I was gone like 120. And they kept, every 45 day would come out, they'd be like, I need you to stay another 45. Like, okay. It's
Yeah.
not like I can say no.
I almost had that happen to
So
me.
it's
on the-
basically Office Space, but in the military.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to stay for a few
Yeah.
days.
I mean, it was in Italy, so it wasn't terrible.
No, that's not bad. So yeah, it like takes them 24 hours just to put the bridge up.
Yep. Yeah, well, because, it's a pontoon bridge and stuff, but it's not that
Yeah.
easy. At least they weren't under enemy fire when they were doing it.
Right. It'd take a lot longer.
Yep.
Well, they got one bridge intact.
Did we get past the scene where they missed with the flamethrower? And blew
Yes.
up
Yeah.
Yes.
We did. Yeah, they missed and they blew up the magazine
ammo
on the
dump?
bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, see, so, yeah, everything's wrecked. See how the little shack behind the pillbox is gone? It burned
Yeah.
down and blew up.
Nope, that's a German tank.
One of the other problems that they have is because their radios don't work, they can't update the drop zone locations. So there's pre-planned supply drops that are going to come in at intervals. But no matter what anybody on the ground does, the pilots are told not to because it could be Germans trying to throw them off. So unless they transmit the new location, the drop zone won't change. Well, the Germans have pushed them back beyond the point where they can get to the drops, so it's all going into German-controlled areas.
Right.
So they're not getting any ammo resupply. They're not getting any food, water, or medicine, or extra batteries, or any of the stuff they need to continue the fight. So they're having to scavenge German guns just to keep fighting.
Yeah.
After a point, they're not that point yet in the fighting.
Now,
And
one thing I like about the movie, it does a good job of depicting, which we'll see later. I believe it's up in Arno or whatever. Well, you're wondering why the Germans aren't just obliterating the town, because they're trying not to kill everyone, just the soldiers, and eventually goes just level the town. You know,
Yeah.
so I've escaped without dust on my clothes, and now the battle point.
Yep. No dirty face or anything. Just
Mm.
no stain has marred his face in this movie. It's the mustache. The mustache
Yeah.
protects from that.
Dutch wouldn't challenge one, finally.
Yeah, so here they're dropping supplies, but it's wrong place.
right, and they're trying to say, "Hey, over here," but they've been given strict orders not to. No matter what anybody on the ground does, you do not drop in a different location.
That's
And
the what the fuck look I give it. But that's what that look is.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But see, they're doing everything they can to be like over here, and it just giving strict orders. And see that's out in a field there. You're going to get shot if you try to get out there. But one guy runs out to try to recover something, and it's heavy too. Those things are not light. They're like over 100 pounds.
Now, if he had just dropped and crawled, like drag crawled it, he wouldn't have got shot.
Right.
You know what I mean? It, I mean, I guess they had to depict it. I don't know if this really happened or not, the way it was depicted, especially what he wound up getting killed for, you know?
Right. It winds up being a replacement berets.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
why would you even send that crap?
Yeah, why?
Yeah.
You know, As-
What if they look dirty?
Well, that's why he ran out. Not for the food. He's like, man, damn it, those are the replacement berets. I must get out.
yeah, exactly. They're all for Sean Connery to keep
Yeah.
his uniform clean.
That's how he looks so
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah, he's got all these. Where's my extra uniform drop and my lint roller?
Believe I see a speck of dust on my.
There are bridges in New Jersey where I grew up and lived that look like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is standard bridge building technique since the
Yeah.
late 1800s.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have Germans crossing them, but other than that.
Yeah.
I can barely hear Mando.
I can hear her.
I can hear you just. No, I can hear you fine. You sound fine to me.
You sound like you're in a tunnel.
Really? That must be on your end.
Hang on, I'm gonna try something.
Feel bad for that old lady.
Yeah.
The war was rough on everyone, unfortunately.
Well, she's in her declining years. She's senile.
Yeah. Plus, she obviously lived through World War One,
Yeah, her
and
son's
this
coming to
place
take care of her.
survived. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, she's old enough. She could have been through like old enough to where she was in. She saw the as a kid. She saw the Franco-Prussian War happen.
Yeah, I was about to
Um,
say.
Yeah.
yeah, of like 1870, where they marched on Paris.
What's a didn't the Russo-Finnish War happen around there too, or something?
Yeah, and also that's when Austro-Hungary was a country, was its own like empire,
Yeah.
uh, and a bunch of other places didn't exist yet.
Back in the day.
Yep.
Just another war in Europe every 10 years.
Nothing to worry about.
In the
Carry on.
1800s, that was about right. Yeah.
Now, I know they show the soldier walking through the little girl's play area in dripping blood. But I can tell you from personal anecdotes from my family, given how many of these people were like dads, they would have deliberately 9 out of 10 of these guys would have went out of their way to not mess this kid's area up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My question is it must be a wind-up train.
Could be wind up
Yeah, because
early,
it
early
doesn't
electrical.
look electrical. I mean, unless it's a battery-powered one. I don't see any wires. Is all I'm saying.
Well, the wiring would be the rails.
Right.
Like this would be like a low voltage. You plug some sort of battery into a type of thing.
Yeah, it's good, going pretty good.
I mean, it's more likely to be wind up, but it could be. I mean, these seem like rich people, so that could be an early electric set. You
Yeah.
know.
This
Okay.
part. We're here to talk about your surrender. He's like, I'm sorry. I can't accept. We don't have the facilities to take you all prisoner.
Yeah.
And he's like, what?
And then the general trend is like level the town. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's not. Is that Maximilian Schell?
I believe so.
Yes. Hey, Babs.
Babs.
Yeah, so they just blow everything up.
I think you see the civilian body pile around here now.
Yeah. So the Germans are just shooting anybody they see.
Well, yes and no. At this point, they're basically going to destroy the town, right? And people walking around could also be partisans on the side of the soldiers, but you expect the civilians to be hiding in their basements, type of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, look, war is hell. It's a complicated situation. You know,
Yeah, this party's like chewing him out and stuff. And the guy's like, yeah, don't take it personally. His back is cracked. That's why he's pissy.
damn it, the whole operation is being held up. We need to send in the dirty dozen. Edit that in. You know, you see Modell taken out by the dirty dozen.
Yeah. Let's
No.
send in the bastards. Get them in here.
Yeah.
These river crossing scenes are each one of them fail some way or another.
Unfortunately, that's crossing over. Yeah, it's super unpredictable.
We all played Oregon Trail.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, it was a daylight river crossing, so that's a
Yeah.
meat grinder. That was a known meat grinder. Remember Band of Brothers? How he disobeyed the order?
Yeah.
Oh, go back, go back. That truck looks cool, like it's like a monster or something.
Yeah.
High effect and shit. The burning truck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's got the low visibility lights on.
The devil truck. The truck from
Yeah.
hell. Have some Rob Zombie music playing in the background.
Come on, come on. Good to see it blow up here somewhere. Yeah, 9 a.m., 12. No, 1 o'clock. Keep pushing it to midday. There he is.
No, Cliff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I would say after the war, he went on to be a postmaster, but
Yeah.
Ooh.
he doesn't get across the bridge.
And I could
Or the
swear.
water.
I also
Is-
saw the dude who played Otter in Animal House in this movie somewhere.
Yeah. This is actually his father. He has a son that looks exactly like him and is
It's
a
Cliff
postman.
Senior. Yeah. Michael Caine's like, why didn't I get that deal, that clean uniform deal that Connery had? Movie budget, 10 million clean uniform for Sean Connery.
Yeah, these boats are. Whew.
Now,
I mean, they're actual. What are they? Oh,
they're real
British.
boats.
They're British boats.
Yeah. I mean, look, for military portable boats, they're not bad. It's
No.
just they did this in broad daylight and were dead targets.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure they would line the tanks up quite that way. Like they might stagger them a little so if one tank gets blown to bits, it doesn't take out the tank next to it.
Yeah.
I remember reading something about that. Not so much pertaining to this, but
Yeah. But like I said, the problem is that the the road is the only viable. Like if they get off the road, they'll bog down. So they have
Yeah.
to stay in that single file pretty much. Is what one of the big reasons why. Like if they could have just got in a line formation and just drove, they could have
No, but
been up there no problem.
where they were lined up there, you could see there was no bog in front or behind them.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying like when they were, because they're in perpetual bombardment cycle there now, so they're basically artillery. So
Hmm.
but they're easy targets. Like if you hit one of them, you're gonna affect the two next to because they're so close. You know.
Right.
So I remember something like they would stagger them if they were going to do something like that.
Lance said they really did this crossing too.
Yeah.
Except this was shot in like a water tank somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, Robert Redford's part was.
Right.
The extras were like, we need a couple thousand extras for the crossing. We need a couple thousand. Well, we might lose some along the way, you know?
Just makes the movie more accurate.
Yeah. Also, I like their reaction to when they first see the boats. They're like, "These are boats."
Yeah.
1,000 miles away. Why are all these bodies of no-name American actors washing up on the shore?
So he's like, I'm disobeying orders. I'm gonna blow it up.
Right. They really wanted to preserve those bridges for this counterattack strategy they had.
Well, like I was saying in the pre-show with my grandfather and the Lodging Bridge too, there were rivers, not quite bordering Germany, like what's that river called, the Rhine? You know, um, Germany had rivers along its that border, and so they had all these bridges, and they wanted to fortify the fatherland inside that perimeter. And the debate over, do we keep the bridges so we could counterattack and get our troops across and all, or we blow it up and make them have to ford all the rivers, and I mean, that was a big debate between all the German
Yeah.
command structure.
I think by the time of the Battle of the Remagen Bridge, it was pretty apparent they weren't going to be doing any counterattacking.
Yeah.
No,
Uh, yeah. You know,
that was the end of the war. Like I said, the Germans were trying to hold
right.
out and to
Yeah,
get to
right.
force a negotiated settlement.
Exactly, right.
Well, the German military was.
Yeah.
The glorious fatherland Third Reich was thinking they were still going to win somehow.
Right.
Are we the baddies? Yes, yes, you are. Yeah, so this entire area is just completely flattened.
Oh, if anyone out there wants to watch this movie, it's for free on YouTube.
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah, it's
watched
also
it.
on Tubi.
Tubi is such a great resource. I'm
It
so
is.
thankful
It
for
has
that.
a lot of stuff on there.
So this is like the first radio contact he's had, right, with headquarters.
Yeah. And they stop a mile short.
I understand the logic, but they could have put pressure and made the Germans, kind of back off a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, well, like tank for tank, the Germans were better technology. So my understanding in general from this sort of thing was the Allies, except for Patton, wanted to push forward with superior forces. So they would say, well, the Germans would do like for every German tank they killed three of ours, but we'd still have an extra 1,000 tanks over that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Whereas Patton was just like blitz them and kill them, and because the Germans didn't know how to react to that. Yeah, the political decision in the military behind all this stuff, it's really fascinating, and so many different commentaries on it. Like when I was doing my videos for Masters of the Air, I was deep diving back into the military campaign that they summarized, and and I got some from there. I remember reading the book called The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William Shirer, which is a great sort of journalist history of how World War II began, and he was talking all the political stuff leading into that, and it's really complicated, interesting stuff.
And the Poles finally jump in. They were stuck because of a fog. Can really mess things up.
Well, back then, yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's like they hope for fog.
Yeah.
Wait, there's fog and stormy weather. Hello, drop
Let's
in
do it.
squads. You know,
Yeah. I think one of the conditions they were like, oh, we got to do the drop at this time because there's moon, like there's going to be a full moon, so they could actually see in some of the operations they were doing. But nowadays it's like, yeah, we don't want the moon at all.
Yeah. Now it's all darker than me. And it's stuck. There we go.
That's-
Was that Lawrence of Olivier being the doctor there in that house?
Uh-huh.
Oh man, his I love his Hamlet. That's a good movie.
Yeah, it is.
you can take this film and just, like, look at all the background actors scene by scene, especially if you've seen a lot of European movies and TV shows. And there's just so many people in this. Same thing with The Longest Day, with Midway, with modern day would be like uh, Black Hawk Down. There's like so many actors in these background roles
Mhm.
that you see them 30 years later and they're a big actor.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of people came out of Black Hawk Down.
Yeah. Well, that to me was like the last movie like this where they had these giant ensemble casts, and not just one or two big
Yeah.
actors.
Uh-huh. These poor guys just get lit up bad.
Yeah. Another scene with Gene Hackman that didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
He just, like, every scene he's in, he just stares like in a disapproving fashion. It's all he does. Except for the one scene where he's like, "I almost got asked for a letter."
Yeah, this is telling here too. It's like, can we surrender and get our wounded out? And the SS guys are like, no. Then he comes in and is like, yeah, I'll take care of this.
Well, remember the whole thing where the German military, unlike the SS, there
Yeah.
was this debate over prisoners, where the negotiating you needed the prisoners to say, "We got 1 million of your guys, and you're just going to come crashing through here." Well, we don't need to feed them at all.
Yeah. I can't hear Mando.
Yeah. Now there's this guy in the background. He appears in a lot of scenes. I mean, he's not, and I don't remember him anyway. There's one guy in the movie,
What guy?
the guy with the beret behind the doctor.
Yeah, he's the medic, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like the one guy I can't recall from any other movie.
Yeah.
He's the guy. We're in the end game now. Then Gene Hackman pops up and does a snap.
Yeah, Gene Hackman's scenes are definitely.
And he's usually a much more active actor. Like,
Yeah,
like
he
he
is.
must have been like just needed a paycheck for this role or something.
Or his accent wasn't very good.
Well, like
I
he's. Oh
think
yeah,
him
that's.
just trying to hold the accent is what's muting his acting abilities here. It's so bad. Well, yeah, just ask Sean Connery about his Russian accent, or Harrison Ford
Yeah.
and his.
What Russian accent? Oh, can't you tell I'm doing a Russian accent?
All Russians are.
Or his Spaniard accent from
Yeah.
Highlander.
His Egyptian Spaniard accent. Very few trees are actually harmed in filming of this movie.
So they pull out everybody they can and leave the wounded. That sucks.
I read something. I'm trying to remember the exact numbers of the like 10 or 12,000 dudes who were there initially.
Hmm.
Uh, there were like 1 to 2,000 who were actually able to pull out.
Yeah. I think he says here he's like had 10,000 men when it started, and now he has two.
Yeah, but I think that's movie. Those are like movie numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I think the real numbers it's like 10,602 and like 1,000. Like some, you know what I'm saying? Like that. Like,
yeah.
what do you mean you're gonna get the real numbers in this go? I'm just gonna round them.
You just round them up. This lady's house is all chewed up.
That was far happened a lot.
There it is. Good movie.
It really is.
Except for the Polish accent.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe there's an after credit scene of Sean Connery posing.
Maybe. We'll never know.
I do want to read the book this was based on the big book list of books I will never live long enough to finish.
Yeah. What book is it? What's it called?
Let's see here.
The what?
Book of the same title by historian Cornelius Ryan.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so good movie.
Yeah, it is a good movie. Um, Even if it has a James Caan scene, it could have been cut.
Then James Caan wouldn't have been in this movie.
Well, they could have saved themselves some money.
Oh, this guy, the guy who wrote the book for this, also wrote the book that the movie The Longest Day was based on.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Okay, that's why it kind of, yeah. Longest Day, another great movie.
Yep,
And
definitely.
for a while, I was getting some of the scenes mixed up in my head. Um, that's why I thought the Germans at the beginning were at a war game, because that's what they were doing in at the start of The Longest Day.
Longest Day.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like in that big World War II AI production, you could have Tom Hanks taking the beach next to John Wayne.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Exactly. You could have
like,
all the
hey,
characters mixed in there.
it's like, hey Duke, what are we gonna? Hey, what are we gonna do? You know,
Yep. Yep.
I'm gonna take this satchel and head right up there to those Germans and
Yep.
just blow them.
And then you could have Chuck Norris come in and roundhouse kick Hitler in the head.
What's what's he in any World War II movies?
What's that?
No, I don't think.
No, because the Chuck Norris joke I get, but like my brain hit the Chuck Norris. No, he never did a World War II film.
No, I
But
don't
then
think so.
you can go crazy and have like the science fiction horror World War II films, like you know, like in the middle of like some Jap like the for of Sans Iwo Jima, Godzilla could walk up on the beach and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean you can go crazy with AI now.
Yep.
Well,
Sixer
but
hits.
like I'm going to predict, and I hope I live to see it in like 2035 to 2040. You're going to say, take this book and make me a TV miniseries, and you'll say, make so and so play so and so, and so and so play so and so, and you get your own TV miniseries version of any book you want. You know,
Yeah,
but they're better written than like all the garbage we're getting now.
yeah. That's crazy to think that you could do that. Just
Well, hit it for me was that clip I keep that still sticks in my head of all
I'll
the
be right
movies
back.
getting together. Conan, Achilles, Aragorn, Leonidas. Uh, there are like 7 or 8 dudes in there, and they're all like clasping each other's hand and like having a big conference on a hill or something. And I know Lance saw it, but I don't know if you guys ever seen it. So
I haven't.
I'll try to find it and put it in Jacob's group channel.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good clip. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Yeah, because I was AI man. All the crazy stuff that they were doing with like AI Naruto. That some dude's going is doing the whole series. I kept linking them all to Sammy.
Yeah, I was looking at the trivia facts for this movie, and apparently Sean Connery got upset that Robert Redford was making more than him. So he actually protested and sat out for a few days, maybe even a week, before they adjusted his pay till he was happy. Apparently, everybody agreed on a special type of like international contract, but Robert Redford negotiated more than everybody else.
Redford, he bastard. Sean Connery, man of the people.
Yeah.
Oh man, can you imagine filming this where the AI and Sean Connery in his Zardoz outfit running across the screen, killing German soldiers?
Yeah. Earlier, when you were talking about how clean he looked in every scene, I immediately thought of that movie.
Yeah, and in his right hand is the Kyle de Capana, instead of the hatchet he had in Zardoz. And the gun he's using in the Zardoz gun, the James Bond Walther PPK. You know,
That would be
and
funny.
wherever Robert Redford appears, you see Paul Newman appear. So like Butch and Sundance are in every scene. Or what else could you do with this movie? Every time Ryan O'Neal appears in like a room, there's a poster of Farrah Fawcett in the background. They were married, for those who don't know that. There's a lot of crazy stuff you can do.
You could redo every James Bond movie with Austin Powers for Bond instead.
But
Alrighty. Sorry, I'm back.
Welcome back.
So yeah, it's a long movie, but it's a good.
It's
It's a
it's
good.
with as many there's not as many unneeded scenes, but it's paced reasonably well. I didn't really feel the full like
No, you don't really.
257. Except maybe that first like 55 minutes, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a long movie. And then after that, once the action got going, I didn't even realize I had burned another hour when I checked the timer. So
Yeah,
it goes at a pretty good clip after 55.
yeah, it does. But yeah, I recommend it.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Like I was telling my dad, I was listing off the actors that I had seen, and he was like, "Wait, who? Really?" And the list of actors that are in this is just it's insane when you think about like where they all ended up
Yeah.
later in their careers. So
Yep.
incredible.
Yep.
And I can't get over how much Brad Pitt looks like Robert Redford when he was younger. I was like, man, them being in Spy Game together is just like they could have been father son in that.
Yeah.
It's so good. But yo, this is awesome. First time for me seeing it, and I really enjoyed it quite a bit. I have to go back and um, actually I'll probably just watch Lance's cut because that'll be pretty fun. Pretty fun to go through, see all those extra edits there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. But anywho,
Yeah, that was a good one.
any last things?
On Thursday, I think most of us here are going to be on Rome the Empire's channel and go on at 5 Pacific Standard Time.
The Chud.
We're gonna own the Chuds. we're gonna go over the movie 1984 movie Chud. So
Be there
yeah,
or be square.
it should be fun.
Chud, Californian Humanoid Underground Democrat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kind of the same thing. We'll see.
Yeah.
Just got to make sure we got our Wolven scale all ready to go.
Yes. The meme
I don't,
should be great.
unless the woven scale is like logarithmic. This is like a bajillion times better than woven.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's, uh,
So yeah, go around the horn. Matt, what do you got coming?
tomorrow night on Wednesday night is overbooked. Um, we'll be giving with Joker Boys, Brad, Ego, and possibly Larry. We'll be doing our predictions for not Backlash, the Clash in Italy, which I believe is this weekend, and talking about other stuff in the zany world of professional wrestling. Uh, and then obviously, if finally Chud on Roman's channel tomorrow, Thursday, and what do you have next week, Jacob? Am I on that or not?
X-Files.
Oh no, yeah, I can't deal with X Files. That's it.
Alrighty. Uh, Mando, I can't hear you, but go ahead.
What's up? Yeah, I don't know if they can hear me either, but whether or not they can hear me, it's fine. Mostly just same old, same old. My schedule's been kind of crazy. I was helping a friend move over the weekend, and of course Memorial Day, all that. So my schedule is just completely up in the air right now. So yeah, I should be here, or I should be on Romans Thursday, and my friend Triple Rock Sunday, and yeah, just keep an eye out on social media. Woo.
Sounds good, Mando.
Great. Travis.
I am yeah. I I have nothing coming up. I can't even promise to do a short this week because I'm so exhausted from the 4 day Memorial Day weekend. Managed to do something
Yeah.
every day with the kids. They had tons of fun, and I'm extremely exhausted. So, but yeah, keep an eye out for that. Catch me on X under the Nobody's Thoughts handle. But yeah, that's all. That's all I got. I'll be here next week for X Files.
Cool. Alrighty. Cool. Well, yep. That was that. Oh, X-Files. I forget the number. I think it's 10 and 11, I believe. I don't know. But yeah, I'll have that next week and see everybody on Chud. And I hope. Thanks for the people in the chat for hanging, and thanks to Lance for showing up so late. That was good of him to. I think it was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning over there.
Yeah, it was pretty late for him.
But yeah, thanks to the panel. And I hope everybody has a good week, and we'll see y'all next time. Have a good one, everybody.
Yep. Good night.
Adios.
All I can say, McKay, is you take a hell of a long time to say goodbye.
Well, so long. So long.
See you around, Burton.
Never can tell.
Good boy.
Happy trails, Hans.
Goodbye.
Good boy.
Goodbye, bro.
Goodbye, Arab!
Goodbye, Northman.